remix. Sup? We are so bleeping back, baby. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brett Show's on your radio. It's the fan of Stade. How do you do? How you been? I am refreshed, re-energized, and revitalized.
You forgot to move the diesel board.
And I forgot to move the stupid. Why is it here? I just broke my toe. It's the first day back. It doesn't do anything.
I moved your chair over there. I did all the things that like I normally do, but I forgot to move the diesel board.
The diesel board. Why is it there? I don't understand why it's even there. It doesn't do anything.
Maybe we should call and wake him up and ask him why.
Hey, y'all. The show's back. Hell yeah. Been a minute, but at long last, the national nightmare has come to its conclusion. Banners unfurl, trumpets sound. The boys are back in town.
You're doing Thin Lizzy. That's what you're doing. Okay, yes. I thought you were doing The Boys Are Back in Town from Ghostbusters.
Guess who just got back today?
It wasn't today. It was earlier, but you know.
It was actually last Wednesday. Thanks, Helene. Appreciate that. I didn't. Who wants a honeymoon anyway? Screw all that. Spending all that money and all that time with my wife.
There we go. It's going to be a struggle for you. Did you? Were you able to get money back if you had already spent on some things?
None of the stuff that we didn't get to do was stuff that we had spent money on yet. So I was actually very proud of her. As Lonzo can attest to all of you. The wife, very, very a planner. Rob Brown never had a plan a day in his life.
I can attest to your lack of planning. Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Here's the thing about plans, goals, and objectives. If you don't set them, you can't fail to meet them, right? This is an old Homer Simpson adage that has become an unspoken life philosophy of mine. If you don't set goals, you can't fail to meet goals. If you don't have a plan and you just make it up as you go, you never come up short with your plan. And that was I'm so proud. I was and remain very, very proud of her because the wedding, the whole thing, the whole week, all the way through the reception, she had everything to a T, every T crossed, every I dotted. She had all of it. All I had to do was show up, put on a suit, shave, and don't fall down.
Yeah, don't talk about shaving.
I'm full hurricane mode right now.
Yeah, me too.
Full hurricane mode.
And because I can't, I'm going to have to make myself cold shave.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
No, it's the worst.
Because it hurts for days.
Just mountain man it. Just mountain man. You live in the mountain.
I do.
Just mountain man
Grateful to make it out of the mountain this morning.
She had everything planned, every minute, down to go to bed Saturday night. And she said, after that, I'm done planning. You're in charge from Sunday morning until work on Monday.
She said you're in charge?
Yeah, because she was in charge of the wedding, like everything. So she said, whatever you want to do. And I said, what if, hear me out on this, what if we plan our, like you remember the old choose your own adventure books back in the day? You'd be like, if you go down the left hallway, turn to page 74. And if you go through the creepy cemetery, turn to page 94.
They're called video games now.
They are. Yeah. But back in the day, they were choose your own adventure books. And I said, we're going to do that. We're going to have a real life choose your own adventure book. And so go down to Orlando and go to Epcot was on the table over here. We could have gone to Savannah and stayed in a haunted Airbnb or a haunted bed and breakfast over here. Could have gone up to Charleston and done all the history tours over here. Could have gone camp. She's like, I don't care. I just don't want to do it anymore. And I said, done. Got you, boo. We got this. And then a hurricane came. And so our stay at our casa down on the beach in St. Augustine was up on Wednesday. And we're like, I kind of feel like we need to go back now because this thing is taking a beeline to Greenville, South Carolina, to the upstate of South Carolina. This thing is at us. We got to go. And we did. We came back. Came back on Wednesday, got back Wednesday night, spent Thursday all day storm prepping, and I'm very glad we did for a bonkers 24 hours. And here's what I'll say. We're kind of in an interesting spot here. Because on one hand, you guys know the mentality of this show. The mentality of this show is sometimes life sucks. Sometimes the world ain't great, right? Like we understand that outside of the sports world, sometimes the world is an unkind, unforgiving place, and bad things happen to good people. We also recognize that we have a very privileged position with the job that we do, with the show that we have. And the privileged position that we have is that people, at least some of you, people rely on us to provide a distraction from the bad things. People rely on us for a break. And my approach to this show for the entire 17 years I have been a broadcaster, my approach has always been and remains, I want to be that distraction for you. That's why the tagline of the show is, we take sports seriously, not ourselves. Because Zoe and I come in here, we goof off every day that we can. And even when bad things happen, to me, it is still important to come in here and try to be in a good mood. And it's not always easy. Right now, it's hard to do. We have got neighbors in North Carolina that woke up today in a strange room because the one that they were going to bed in up till Thursday doesn't exist anymore. There are towns that have been largely wiped off the map by this storm. There are places in North Carolina that don't exist anymore. That my wife and I were planning on when we got back from the honeymoon. We were like, what if we come back on Wednesday? Choose your own adventure. What if we come back on Wednesday and we just drive past Greenville and go up into the Blue Ridge? There are places we were talking about potentially going on our mini honeymoon that don't exist now. We'll never get to go back to them, at least not the way that they were. And then obviously right here around the upstate, I know that there are many of you that are listening right now on generators, that are listening right now on your cell phone, that are listening right now on your tablet that's plugged into your truck or your car because you don't have power. There's over 1 million of us. Lonzo and I are both in this number. I don't have power to my house. I got dressed this morning by flashlight. That's not a joke.
You know what is kind of funny? I didn't realize my shorts were on backwards till I got to work.
Yep. Yeah.
So I came in here and you're welcome, Greenville.
Yeah.
If you were able to look through that, I wasn't like standing in the window. I was over here, but I had to change the shorts. I'm like, my pockets feel weird. Why is that? Why is that going? Oh, my shorts are on backwards. Yeah. We had I got like a little LED lantern thing, and that's what I was dressing by. And by the way, you cold tub people, you guys are
psychopaths.
Psychopaths. You are so stupid. I took a cold shower this morning, and I just wanted to find Kevin Hart and step on him. Okay?
I'd rather be dirty.
Well, it's not. So remember earlier in the office, I told you that I suddenly got warm. That's why I took a cold shower, and suddenly my body temperature went back up where it was supposed to be. Cold showers are horrible.
They're the worst.
Yeah, they are. I also trekked through the woods this morning, and I heard one lone generator. So I know one person somewhere out in the woods had a generator, and that was it. But I think I'm going to risk taking my car back up to my house tomorrow because that was not fun.
No. Nothing is, and this is why I've said, like, it's not. It's made to be a joke, but it's not. Nothing's fun right now. It's not. It's just not fun. All right. We lost our power on Friday morning. Very, very early while I was asleep Friday morning.
Well, it was for us, it was right around 6 o'clock because I was getting ready to come in here, which I wouldn't have been able to do because the sun wasn't up yet. And I didn't realize what devastation awaited me outside.
Yep.
But
I
yeah.
woke up to a very loud from my wife, and I was like, what? What is happening? Like, bang, woke me up like that. And I'm like, what is happening? Because I'm not going to lie. I went to bed at probably 6:37 a.m. on Friday. I just could not stay up anymore. I was staying up because if something happened, if a tree, I'm a Floridian. I've been doing this my whole life. If a tree comes through a roof or a 2x4 comes through a window, things that have happened to me, I needed to be awake and ready to roll. And so I waited until she got up to go lay down. In the midst of the storm, I stayed up through as much of the worst as I could. And when she was up and at him, I'm like, all right, you got the watch. If anything goes bad, you scream and wake me up. I woke up to a very loud and couldn't figure out why. And she goes, look, and points out the windows, though, that I sleep under. Right over, when I say right over my head, I mean 2.5 feet from my head. And I look out about a, 60-foot tall oak tree fell from our neighbor's yard into our yard and missed my window by about 3 feet. If it was 3 feet to the right, that thing is crashing quite literally on my head while I'm KO'd, while I'm knocked out. I'd have been night for potentially a very long time. Okay. That's what's happened.
Like always.
Yeah. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, that another few feet, I'd have been toast. I'd have been cooked. So, and I know that there are many of you around the upstate that did not get as lucky as I did. I woke up, Zoe and I were talking about this before the show today. I am not kidding, and it's going to sound very whatever, very, very Tony Robbins of me. But I have been since Friday morning. When things have gotten frustrated, I have said, attack life with a spirit of gratitude because I got lucky. Nothing happened to the house we live in. We got no power, don't care. I got the message yesterday from the power company that's like, look, we're going to try to have everybody's gas up by the end of the week. No promises. And I told the wife, I'm like, hey, we're going to have to deal with it. I've read so many books by candlelight in the last 4 days, and I am attacking it with a spirit of gratefulness because I understand how much worse a lot of other people have it. So here's what I'm going to say. We are going to do this show as normally as we can because I know that most all of you that are listening right now, are probably hurricaned out right now. And you know that when the sun comes up, all that's got to be done, it's still waiting for us. I had to go 7, 8, 9 miles around to get to the radio station this morning because Haywood, which is the road I come down from the house to the office every morning, Haywood's blocked in like 4 places. There are still gigantic ash trees that are covering the road. I couldn't get here. I probably
walked that far just to get to my car.
Probably. I had to backtrack miles, and I will have to for the next couple of days. And again, spirit of gratitude. Fine. I got to go an extra 7, 8 miles. Ain't no harm to me. Another gallon of gas a week. It ain't whatever. Doesn't bother me. Okay. We all know that when the sun rises over the upstate of South Carolina, there's still a ton that has to be done. And that is individual house to house. That is neighbor to neighbor. That is community to community, town to town, city to city. That is state to state from the Florida Panhandle up into North Carolina.
I got to say, on the way in this morning, so I went out last night and I've been going out at night for a reason because you can tell what houses have powers, what sections of the upstate have power. And even this morning, I noticed more things back on. And I'm just like, yes, it's creeping towards us. I know eventually we're going to get our power back on. Also, shout out to all the men and women out there working on the lines. I know they've been working nonstop. I know people are coming in from other states. And speaking of other states have it worse than us, as bad as we have it. You mentioned North Carolina. There's Tennessee, Georgia. I mean, everyone has gone through a whole lot of devastation. There are people out there working their butts off 24 hours at a time trying to get power back for you. So if you see a line worker, leave them alone. or wave to them, do whatever, and just be grateful. Don't be mean about it. Just be grateful because you're out there working, trying to get you back to whatever you consider normalcy.
When the sun rises on the upstate of South Carolina here in a tick over an hour, there's still a lot that's got to be done. It's some of you have work that I still got a ton of work to do around my house, my neighborhood. I spent Friday morning, and I do want to, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a minute. But Friday morning was out chainsawing a tree that fell across my driveway to be able to get out of my house. I know that there are many of you that have a lot more than that to do. I know that there are people that are out there trying to help their neighbors, and there are neighbors trying to help neighbors, and there are communities trying to help each other, and communities trying to help other communities, et cetera, et cetera. And I know that there are, or I'm sure they're here by now, there was a convoy of something like 20,000 line crews coming from the left coast, coming from California, from Nevada, from New Mexico, on their way here to help out, okay? And I know that there is a lot that has to be done, but we will get it. We will get through it. We will get through it. We will get back to, it may never be exactly what it was, but we will get back to what is our sense of normal. All right. It may be new buildings, maybe new neighbors, maybe new telephone poles here and there, whatever. But we will get back to, as Lonzo pointed out accurately, succinctly, we will get back to whatever normal is going to be. And in the meantime, I will tell you what I have said every time that we have dealt with anything on this show here in the upstate, on any show that I have been on in the 17 years I've been broadcasting. You have one thing that you can take as a fact about this show, that even when the metaphorical, you know what, hits the literal, the metaphorical fan, we are going to, while acknowledging the reality we live in, we will do our best to update you on who's open and who's not, where there's power, where there's not. If you need a place to go, where you can go. Try to update you as roads are opened, which roads are closed. Lonzo and I have a duty that we will fulfill to be the best we can as far as being voices of information and updates. I will also tell you that it is a reality of this show that regardless of the reality outside this studio, our goal for you is to be a place that you can go if you need to just put it away for a minute. Like I said, the sun's going to come up. You know there's work that needs to be done. I do too. I got work I got to do here. I don't have power at my house. I got to do all my work here. Then I got to go home and work at the house, and I don't have an air conditioner to go inside to. But that's okay. We're going to get through it. In the meantime, Zoe and I...
Hey, wait a minute. You're from Florida, man. The heat shouldn't bother you. You should be able to sleep outside.
Heat doesn't bother me. Working in it does. There's a difference.
Okay.
All right. I'll go sit outside. Listen, if I got to go home to no AC, but all I had to do was sit in a lawn chair with a Corona in my backyard. Mwah! Chef's kiss. Beautiful day. Can't wait. But that ain't it. That ain't all that's gonna get done. So for the next 4 hours, here's my promise to you. As we learn more information, as we get more updates about what's happening and where, we will bring those to you. But we're also gonna do the show. We're also going to take that Mamba mentality. We're going to do the show. We're going to have fun. We're going to goof off. We're going to tell jokes, some appropriate, some inappropriate. We're going to be a little irreverent over here. We're going to be a little in love with baseball and football over here. We got a lot we got to get to. We're going to have as much fun as we can while keeping you as abreast of every situation as we can. That is our promise to you over the next 4 hours. So, strap in, kids. I've been out for a week and a half. I got some stuff to say. Let's have a little fun. The great one, Lonzo's over there. I am Rob Brown. We are so back, baby, on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Let's go. Brian, Mike, good morning, fellas. What's happening? How we doing, y'all?
Can't remember if I hit print. So let's just do it again.
Lonzo's hurting, boys. Hurting.
It's probably going to require surgery eventually.
Don't love that.
You know, one of the hardest parts driving out where I live is you're used to having lights somewhere. Mm-hmm. And when there are no lights, you kind of have no idea where you are. So you're looking for signs and everything. It's like, I'm going to pass that up. Why is this so hard? There's a school over there. I know it is, but I can't see the school. And
there was a lot of taking my time on the way here. A lot of taking.
Well, I was cruising once I got on 385 because it wasn't the first time I was on that this weekend. So Saturday, I was here all day. All day. For like 12 hours. But you know what? There was air here and I got work done. And Tim, that's his name. I know. I think I might go drool on my desk in the office after the show for about 2 hours. Although, did you read the email about what's available down in the? Hey, Chris has a nice couch. Just saying. Oh, that's us. Wow.
Already?
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Happy as can be Monday, people. Welcome in. I'm glad to be back. I don't know if Alonzo's glad to be back. I'm going to assume that he is. Hey, we haven't actually talked about that yet.
Well, I mean, what do you mean back? I'm glad to be alive as I watched trees fall out my front window and thought, yep. Living here is pretty, but this is the thing that I was worried about most. And there goes another one. And oh no, we are trapped. Yeah. So I'm glad to be out. We got untrapped like yesterday around 6:00, thanks to some neighbors that come over with chainsaws and bulldozers and backhoes and things that I don't know what they're called, but they move real heavy stuff. And so, yeah, I'm glad to be back for that reason. Also, I haven't been on the air other than Saturday for a week and a half either. So I'm glad for that. And I'm thankful for having a job that's always on. You know, that's the thing. And we had to operate as a skeleton crew to a degree last week because some of us just couldn't get here. But enough people got to the building to be able to hopefully inform everyone out there. Because I mean, that's what I do. And that's what a lot of people do when you're out there, especially when you lose power and you lose electronics, you go get in your car because at least that works. Turn it on and listen to the radio.
We're back. And again, I know it's going to be not fun for a few days, but I promise you the 4 hours that you're going to get here with us, we're going to do the best we can.
How many times have you seen on social media, how did people exist before all this?
We have spent the last...
They did. If they didn't, we wouldn't be here.
That's why we are here. Exactly. At least some of us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wink, wink,
okay.
Nudge, nudge.
All right.
There it is.
I see where you're going.
Ain't nothing else to do. Wife got tired of hearing that after about 30 minutes. So speaking of having fun, in the spirit of having fun, I suspect, and I could be wrong, but I suspect Lonzo's had a big old artillery shell waiting in the chamber for me for about a week and a half now. And so I feel like now's as good a time of any. Should you elect to point the cannon and light the fuse, I am ready.
I hate when you do that, by the way. You know that.
I didn't do the...
Oh, do you...
The thing, I didn't play. I thought about it. I really didn't think about it for a second. I decided not to. I'm a better man than that.
All right. So when you said that,
and also my computer was muted.
When you said that, I had to fight through the fog that exists. I had to fight through, all that has happened and try to think, what is he talking about? And then I believe you were talking about the benching of one Bryce Young. Would that be what you're talking about?
That would be the thing.
I'm not going to do the I told you so.
Not the benching of, because I was fine with the benching of. It's the benching of followed by the performance of
Andy Dalton,
the Red Rocket.
Yes, rifle. Yes.
Rocket.
Yeah, I'm going to say rifle. I don't. I'm trying to figure out why they removed rifle. It may have something to do with gun rights or something like that. But he's always the Red Rifle to me. When did he change that? Can you change your own nickname? I don't think you can. I'm not even sure he gave himself that. But if someone gave you a nickname, can they turn around and go, you know what? Changing it. Because he did not go from a rifle to a rocket. You go from a rocket to a rifle. Although that first game back, because of power, and he's older, and rockets are more powerful and more.
Listen, we all know the reason you don't want to say Red Rocket, and it's appreciated. All right, thanks for being the adult in the room.
No, Red Rocket is the name of the gas stations in Fallout. Yeah. So and some of us have lived through Fallout to a degree the last few days, and I was about ready to go see if I could make a pipe gun, which I'm not sure I'd know how. You think from the video game you can figure it out. I don't know why your thing ain't working.
I love and appreciate.
You're just like hitting stuff. It's like, why is it not working?
I love and appreciate your naivete on this topic, and I am jealous of it. Now,
so everything that is erect, everything that is stiff, everything that is pole-like is phallic. Is that what you're saying?
That's my new laugh thing. You'll hear why later in the show. It's
okay, so everything is that, because I had never heard Red Rocket called that before.
I will simply say that after the show, go Google South Park Red Rocket and then enjoy yourself.
Oh, okay. It had to have something to do with stinking Cartman.
It's very much Cartman. All of that being said, two things.
I hope you're laughing on your way to work, Chris, although you're probably already here.
That poor guy's been getting his ass kicked for 3 days.
Hey, at least he's not alone right now.
That's true.
I mean, so he's got some help.
So here's after having watched now 2 performances from Andy Dalton, one turns out to be a win. Yesterday, competitive against the Cincinnati Bengals.
It wasn't bad. And the interception he threw, his arm got hit. So it wasn't like he threw it directly to a guy. His arm got hit hard, and the ball ducked, went up there, a duck ball, and the defender got it.
So here are the thoughts that I had after 2 weeks now of
real quick. Are there Panthers fans out there thought we're back? That's it. I mean, after that first initial game, I mean, because Andy Dalton was excellent. That was a great game. It showed you that that the players were tired of hearing all the noise about, the entire team stinks and everything else. They came out there and they played really hard. They played really hard yesterday. They also lost some major players on defense. I don't know about permanently, but definitely for the game. Are there Panther fans? Because I've seen some people out there saying, no, I'm not ashamed to talk about my team and some things like that. Do you still expect them to win a lot? Because, I mean,
Okay, let's answer that and get that part out of the way. If you do, you don't know ball. Okay? If you suddenly think this is a playoff team, you don't know ball. Because the issue still remains, ain't changing. There's a lot wrong with this team, and there are still plenty of positions that need to be upgraded. There are things that need to be fixed. There are still some spots that, while I am on board and do think that he can be not just a dude, but the dude, I think that there are still lessons that Dave Canales has to learn as a first-year head coach and play caller. I think you saw that. Even on that opening drive, 4th down, they decide to go for it. They don't get it. I don't know that I agreed with that call that early in a game. You're trying to be competitive. So put that to bed. If you suddenly think with Andy Dalton starting, this is now a playoff team, go ahead and put that to bed so that the disappointment doesn't smack you square in the mouth at the end of the year.
Maybe you get lucky and you're not last place in your division.
I mean, honestly, I'm not even. No, you're still last place in the division.
I said maybe because
you still are,
because everybody else is pretty good.
Everybody else is pretty good. The Saints and the Falcons had a junk kicking contest between each other yesterday. Tampa Bay embarrassed Philadelphia at the house. Baker Mayfield turns out still pretty good. I will also point out, and this is part of the direction that I was going and going. There is a sliding scale, a spectrum. How many times have we had this? Nuance matters. Context is everything. I am tired of sports talk radio that says that everything is either black or white, red or blue, left or right. And there is no. Everything is somewhere in the middle. Things can be true.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. Here is where I landed. There is a sliding scale for this conversation. On one hand of the scale is Bryce Young sucks, and we all know it now. He just sucks. He's just bad, and there's nothing else to it. And on the other end of the spectrum is the Carolina Panthers have, to this day, failed Bryce Young. They failed him. And the answer to me is a little bit of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
I was going to say, it's probably a little bit of both. As long as you're willing to say it's a little bit of both.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. I know that I have been cast as a Bryce Young sycophant, an acolyte in the cult of BY. But
all right, you're using words that ain't nobody ready for this morning. I mean, I got it.
I've been off for a week and a half. I got plenty of big words saved up. All right, deal with it. A cacophony of words incoming. The truth is not that I am a BY acolyte, that I am in the cult of Bryce. The truth is that most of you have been blaming every issue on Bryce Young. Everything. It's just all his fault. Now, I am going to say
there's quite a bit of it appears to be his fault.
Okay,
I mean,
let me get to my point and see if I can wrap you around with me here. When I am watching Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay, I thought Tampa was taking a step back, and I was ready to say Baker takes a step back. Turns out, nope, he just schooled Philly yesterday. Sam Darnold is the NFL MVP today. If the season ends today, Sam Darnold's the MVP.
More touchdowns, more just about everything.
He's 4-0 with like good wins, not like ass wins over bad teams. He's 4-0. All right, Sam Darnold's the damn MVP of the league if the season ends today. So. What you're not going to do.
Real quick, what a great story that is.
Great story. I want to come back to it. I want to come back to Sam Darnold because I'm enjoying the ride, okay? The renaissance de Sam Darnold. Big fan. So here's what I want you to take away from this. On one hand, yes, it's very clear that Bryce Young's not good yet. Okay, but it's very clear that he's not good. The fact that Andy Dalton came in, won the first game, and then was competitive against now, granted, the Bengals ain't what we thought the Bengals was going to be. Bengals screwed themselves this offseason. Jamar Chase screwed them this offseason. But it's not a bad team. It's a bad team record-wise, and you are what your record says you is, but it's not a bad team talent-wise. And you were competitive. So I got Bryce Young over here, who is not good. And we can establish that. He's not good. On the other hand, over here, dude, I've got Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, both who were not good in Carolina, and right now are, in my opinion, the two most interesting stories in the National Football League. Baker Mayfield got his paycheck, and he's still balling out. Sam Darnold's 4-0 with the Vikings and is the league MVP if the season ended today, okay? So what I'm going to take away from that is two things are true. Number one, Bryce Young ain't good. Okay, now, there's the other side of that coin, which is Carolina's part of the reason, okay? Because he is, again, I know that this bothers people, and I don't give a damn. Bryce Young's first year was a quagmire. It was a disaster, a catastrophe. It was impossible to succeed. No rookie would have come into Charlotte with what the bull crap that happened last year. With Frank Wright, with Chris Tabor, with David Tepper, with what's his name? Fitterer. All right, I forgot his name. I bleached him from my memory. No rookie quarterback is succeeding in the bull crap that Bryce Young got thrown into last year. None. And so he gets asked to come out this year and succeed. The franchise is part of the problem. That is why Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold have not only gone elsewhere, but are kicking ass and taking names elsewhere. On the flip side, BY's not good. And you can say that because Andy Dalton came into the exact same scenario with less preparation than Bryce Young and has kind of balled out a little bit. So Bryce Young's not good. We know that. And I'm also going to say the failure to develop Bryce Young is part of the problem. And that's on the Panthers as well. Everybody's at fault here. That's the problem. We'll talk more about this as the show rolls on. Don't go anywhere. The Rob Brown Show is on the Fan Upstate. I haven't worn headphones for this long in a long time, and my ears are sweaty.
Yeah, that'll do that.
All right, I got to roll something real quick just to see if it works. So stay right there, guys. We'll be back in 45 seconds. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. Okay, thanks for letting me play. At
least one thing nerdy made it on the thing. Oh, it's like a map of soul. I gotta admit, wow, that was on the air. Daggone it, Rob. So I went to say something to the stream where I had turned you back up, and it went over the air.
Oops. Why?
Yeah, because it went through your computer. So I don't. Whatever you did, you need to fix it back. Because it should not do that.
Okay, so I have...
That was me over a spot, too, but it's Mad World, so it should be all right.
My StreamYard muted, which I always do because the audio comes through your computer.
Mm-hmm.
So why was the audio not playing until I unmuted this? You have my computer muted on cue and not the stream.
What? Dude, I'm not... I mean...
Did you put...
I had to turn...
Queue?
That was in queue,
Yeah.
Yes. This is you. This is your computer.
But where's the stream audio?
Well, it's the stream audio is also going through your computer.
I thought it comes to the board. No, it comes through your board. The audio that goes out on the stream comes through your board, right?
It does, but there was some sort of feedback that just happened.
Yeah. Okay, so it should be throw the stream audio in queue now,
dude.
Mine's always muted.
Yes.
But
I can use so whenever you leave and you have the we'll be back.
Yeah.
If I put that in queue, I hear that music.
What is up, friends? It's Rob. All right, we're good. All right.
So wait.
Got it.
So am I playing it through this?
No.
Through that?
Through the stream. Not my computer.
Okay, so
computer.
you want that thing to play through that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that is a video that I'm going to play every couple of breaks. Once I edit it to where I want it, I just needed to make sure it worked. I'll play it every couple of breaks when we step away.
Okay, so we're not putting that on the air.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
Okay.
No, that is a during break on the stream thing.
Got ya. See, we got there. We did. It took a bit. Who's a better quarterback, Jalen Hurts or Bryce Young? I'm comparing them because they both went to the same school. Or Tua. I'm trying to think the most recent quarterbacks coming out of Alabama. So I'm trying to figure out if we should blame Alabama.
It's going to be Jalen Milroe.
Should we blame Alabama?
The Rob Brown Show on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate, Rob Alonso and you. Good Monday morning. Spectacular to have you here with us. Talked a little bit about Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, the Carolina Panthers. 34-24, they fall to the Cincinnati Bengal Tigers yesterday. Their third loss on the season, 1-3 now to start the year, as was pretty much expected that they were going to go. I started the conversation, and I'd like to go back to it for just a few minutes. We're not going to hang on this all day. But I do want to try to clarify my point a little bit. My point is this. Bryce Young is bad. I'm not arguing he's not bad. What I am arguing is that there is, to me, a reason that Bryce Young is bad. And that reason is a failure by the franchise to get him where he needs to be. And I'm going to say that it is not just a failure with Bryce Young, but it was a failure with Baker Mayfield, and it was a failure with Sam Darnold. And I think that point is now illustrated because last year, Baker Mayfield took that team not just to the playoffs, but he won a game in the playoffs with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He gets a $100 million paycheck. I thought Tampa, and I frankly thought Baker Mayfield was taking a step back this year, quite the opposite. Turns out the Bucs are still pretty good. Baker Mayfield punked the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. And then there's Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold leaves Carolina, goes to San Francisco, serves as the backup to Brock Purdy. Then he goes to Minnesota. He was supposed to serve as the backup to J.J. McCarthy. McCarthy goes down in the preseason. Sam Darnold takes over. Would you look at that wango bango? The Minnesota Vikings are 4-0. And if the season ended today, Sam Darnold's probably the league MVP. Now, I don't expect that that's going to last all season. I do expect there will be a regression to the mean of the career of Sam Darnold at some point, but maybe not. Either way, if the season ended today after week 4, the Minnesota Vikings quarterback would be the league MVP, the comeback player of the year, and any other award that he's eligible for, he'd win. Now, I do want to point out, because if there's one thing I like to do on the show, I keep it a buck with you. I try to stay as consistent as I can. Part of the reason Sam Darnold's able to perform is because of the fact that the Minnesota Vikings have built a damn good football team up there around a quarterback. They have got one of the best sets of skill position talent anywhere in the league. I could probably go through for a $1.75 a game if I get to play the best offense in all of football. Jefferson's down there somewhere. I'm just going to wing it up and let that man go get it. And he can go get it. So, to stay consistent with my thought process, same thought process that led me to say, I don't know if Kirk Cousins is going to be the guy in Atlanta, Georgia, because the numbers were inflated in Minnesota. And I do believe that's true of Sam Darnold, but you still cannot knock the numbers for being what they are. And you certainly can't knock the fact that the man came in, was supposed to be a backup, did not get the preseason snaps that you would have wanted QB1 to get. He's 4-0 and performing right now. So if you can look and you can say Baker Mayfield leaves, takes a team that was, again, it's fine in Tampa Bay. It ain't great. It's fine. Takes that team and wins in the playoffs. And Sam Darnold leaves, spends a year as a backup. Now he's a starter on short notice. He's 4-0 and has the, efficiency speaking, the best offense in the National Football League right now. Is it not fair to say, or at least to ask the question, is the franchise maybe the problem with Carolina? Because what's the difference between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield? Experience, time served. They're veterans. They've been in the game for a minute. So Carolina could not ruin them. Bryce Young was fresh meat, new kid on the block, brand new guy, first time in the league. And the first year in the league gets put through more bull crap, and I mean this, gets put through more bull crap than any other player that I can think of in a long Long time as a rookie. Now, I made the point a number of weeks ago when we were talking about Caleb Williams, who, by the way, certified G bona fide stud, just like I told you he'd be. 4 touchdown drives yesterday. Bears win.
He had one good game, and you're just okay.
He had his first good game,
which would still only be one good game.
It is, but it's the first. Now, here's what I'm going to say. There's a problem with rookie quarterbacks. Rookie quarterbacks usually come on to what? Bad football teams. At least highly touted rookie quarterbacks. First pick, second pick, third pick rookie quarterbacks. Ordinarily on bad football teams. And if a team is bad enough that they end up with a first-round top 10 quarterback, there's one of two coaches there. There's either brand new coach looking to prove himself, or there's coach that's wildly on the hot seat. Either way, those coaches are focused in on what? Wins. Not development, not growing the quarterback, not making the quarterback better. We want to sit here and say that a franchise in the National Football League can only be successful if they have a good quarterback. So you bring up these rookie quarterbacks and they get tossed into the crucible right out of the gate. But here's the thing. On teams that have a guy like Eberflus at the helm, do you think that Eberflus was dedicated to making Caleb Williams the most developed, polished, sharpened quarterback he can make him for week 1? Hell no. Eberflus has got to win and win immediately, or he is jobless. Frank Reich last year in Carolina. Do you think Frank Reich came in, even though it was the reason he was hired, if you believe a word out of David Tepper's mouth? Do you think that Frank Reich came in and the strategy, the game plan was to make Bryce Young the most developed, polished, sharpened version of Bryce Young that he could be? No. It was come in and win. It was come in and prove that Indy did me wrong. It was come in and prove that I'm still an offensive guy. It was come in and get wins, not sharpen and polish Bryce Young. And nobody else in that organization last year could overstep that, could move past that, to go, no. The dial-in is to polish Bryce Young, to develop Bryce Young. And so what you are looking at, this is why I have said, to the chagrin of the great one many times, I consider this Bryce Young's rookie year. Bryce Young has had, so far, 3 head coaches and 3 offensive coordinators. The guy's been in the league for 20 games. 20 games he's been in the league. 20. And he's had 3 head coaches and 3 offensive coordinators at this point. So, no, forgive me if I don't think that the Bryce Young that got benched and replaced by Andy Dalton is anywhere close to the finished product that Bryce Young's going to be. Whether he's a trash can or a Hall of Famer, the product you have out of him right now is not polished, because when you had what you had last year, the goal wasn't polish Bryce Young. It was go win ball games. And when Canales came in, whose goal is to polish Bryce Young, it's also a freshman head coach, a first-year guy, a guy who's also adopted being the play caller as well as the HC. That's not something you do in an off season. This is why it's taking Caleb Williams 4 games to look like the quarterback he was expected to be. It is why it took Jaden Daniels 3 games to look like the quarterback he was expected to be. It's why it took Anthony Richardson 3 games to get going, C.J. Stroud. And I would argue that C.J. Stroud, like it or not, I'm right, much more stable situation in Houston than Carolina was in. Not a great one, but a stable one.
All right, injury aside, does Bryce Young play another snap this year for the Panthers?
I can't imagine the answer is yes. Okay? I can't imagine the answer is yes.
How about in the future?
Yes.
See,
whether it's in Charlotte or not, it's up for debate.
No, that's what I mean. I mean in Charlotte. Does he play in it? Because I'm not so sure he does.
Here's the thing. Is Andy Dalton a, let's not even say Super Bowl, NFC Championship caliber quarterback? Do you believe that Andy Dalton can get you to and maybe win in an NFC Championship game?
I don't know. I think in my mind, is he good enough to win the NFC South yet? And
I mean, honestly, the answer is no.
Maybe.
To me, I could be wrong.
I think they're looking towards the draft. I think as soon as he sat down, they're going, okay, who are we drafting?
If that's the case, I don't agree. Because if that's the case, I'm keeping Bryce Young's ass in the game. We're going to find out. He's either going to.
Because you want to lose on purpose. If we know that he's going to make us lose. I don't know.
Because one of two things happen. Number one, there's a spot where he clicks. There's a spot where that confidence clicks. Or number two, he never clicks. You're a dumpster fire until week 18. You lose every game, and you're drafted number 1 overall. It's win-win. If you are genuinely, truly, this is why I've been telling Panther fans, you're not drafting a quarterback next year. Settle down for that, all right? For 2 reasons. Number 1, you got plenty of other spots that you need talent.
We'll see what happens. When's the trade deadline?
What is it? They just moved it 9 now. I think it's 9, somewhere in there. Here's what I'm going to tell you.
There's already rumors out that people may want Bryce Young. I'm just saying.
Ain't a team out there trading you a damn thing for Bryce Young.
Why?
Because he ain't worth nothing. What are you trading for him right now?
You praised him for a long time,
yes.
So you're saying he can't help another team?
No.
Then he's done.
No. What I'm saying is there ain't no team out there that's got capital to make a trade for the trade deadline that believes that Bryce Young's coming in and making them better.
Unless the team is so down on Bryce Young that they'll take just about anything for him.
And again, if that's the case, you play him. If that's the case. Because again, if you play him the rest of the year, there's one of 2 outcomes. He gets it or he don't. If he gets it, bang, there he is. You got your guy. If he don't, bang, you're drafting number 1, and you can pick a quarterback next year. Either one of those is good. But by going to Andy Dalton, and this is why I've been telling Panthers fans, settle in. You're not drafting a quarterback. By going to Andy Dalton, what you have said is we are going to give Bryce some time to deprogram. We're going to give him some time where there's not the pressure on him, where he can step, he can practice, he can learn from Andy Dalton. He can spend extra time in meetings with Dave Canales. He can spend extra time in meetings with the OC staff. He can spend extra time at practice getting his rhythm and timing down and wash everything from last year out of him. Flush last year. He's going on the fruit cleanse of quarterbacks. Just get all the toxins out. All right. And then when we get to weeks 14, 15, when there's no more questions anymore, let's play in the last 3 games at the end of the year, and let's see what he looks like. And if he comes out and he clearly ain't got it, then we figure something out. But if you're looking at drafting a quarterback next year, you play Bryce Young. You play him. You let him go out there and either click and get it so you don't draft a quarterback, or stink to high heavens till week 18 and you do draft a quarterback and you're drafting number 1 overall. It makes 0 sense to not play Bryce Young and then draft a quarterback. It makes no sense for it at all.
I agree with Joe. He says it'd be worth it for the Dolphins to throw a line out there. They already have an offense built around a smaller quarterback and plenty of weapons.
And I was going there. That's the one spot, right? That's the one spot. There's no other teams. There are no playoff teams out there right now that don't have their quarterback settled, with the exception of if Anthony Richardson's out for some time.
No one's trading for him thinking they're going to the playoffs.
Then nobody's trading for him. There's no team that's not a playoff team that goes, Bryce Young fixes us.
There's not one. There's a perfect spot for Bryce Young, and that's a backup in Arizona.
What is Arizona trading? What is Arizona trading away for a backup quarterback to Kyler Murray?
If you are done with Bryce Young, you don't really care. I mean, you're going to trade him for just about anything.
No. I'm not talking about Carolina's side.
Oh, you're talking about
Arizona ain't giving you a damn thing. Why?
A late round draft pick, something like that. Maybe, I don't know.
Look, maybe a team like that maybe coughs up a 7th. Here's what I'm going to say if I'm Carolina. A 7th to me is not – there's one reason a 7th to me is worth giving up on Bryce Young, and that is if and only if Dave Canales looks Tepper in the face and goes, that's not my dude. I do not want him.
I'm just saying, and I know this – Joe is talking about teams built around a shorter quarterback. That's what Arizona is. And Kyler Murray, how many times has he made it through an entire season? That would be a perfect spot for him.
I'm not making the argument it doesn't fit. I'm not making the argument it doesn't make sense. It absolutely makes sense. What I'm saying is if I'm Carolina, the only way I'm giving up on this cat and taking a 7th round pick for him is if Canales went to Tepper and Morgan and said, I am not coaching this quarterback. He is not my guy. I want somebody else, in which case, fine, make the move now and give him a chance. But that's it. All right, we'll talk more about this when we come back. Water Cooler Cheat Sheet, top 3 sports stories you need to know for today. Before we get there, Lonzo is the first overall draft pick of Sports Flashes.
I'm a bust. Wow. The Atlanta Braves or New York Mets will make up a doubleheader that was rained out last week by Hurricane Helene. I'm going to try to get rid of the monotone here. With 2 playoff spots to be awarded between 3 eligible teams, Game 1 will be at 1:10 this afternoon with Game 2 following at 4:40. Whichever team wins Game 1 will be awarded the second wildcard seed. If the losing team wins Game 2, they will get the final seed. If one team is swept, the final seed will go to Arizona Diamondbacks, as both New York and Atlanta own tiebreakers, also known as tiebreakers, over them. All right, Rob wrote that. It's confusing, but anyway, the Atlanta Falcons won a thriller over the New Orleans Saints yesterday, 26-24, with a 58-yard field goal with 2 seconds remaining. Make sure you tune in this Saturday at 12:30 as the Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus Citadel right here on your home for Paladins football. The Fan, upstate. In case you haven't noticed, I ain't slept much. Rob operates better on lack of sleep than I do. Reading is so difficult.
AKA tiebreakers.
See, I think they would, Joe, because I mean it's Tepper. I mean, you know.
Yeah, that's my. So, like I said, that to me is the reason that the Carolina Panthers are the Taylor Swift of organizations. At some point, you've got to sing a song called "I'm the Problem." When I watch multiple other guys go somewhere, not just revitalize their career, but kick ass somewhere else, it's hard for me to then say it's entirely because Bryce Young stinks.
Well, as far as Baker,
y'all said Baker stink,
goes,
y'all saying
yeah,
Sam stunk.
You can blame other teams before both those guys were somewhere else before they got to the Panthers.
Correct. And for the record, we both agree Bate got screwed by the Browns, right? That was a stupid decision by the Cleveland Browns because that's all they do. Sam Darnold was playing for the New York Jets. I am convinced now, after what happened yesterday, I'm convinced the Jets just can't win. They're just not allowed to win. There's some cosmic entity that said, no, you'll never win. Pre-Aaron Rodgers, what's his face from last year? Zach Bang Your Mama. What's his name? Wilson.
You sure? You don't sound real certain there. I mean, I think you're right.
Pre-Zach Wilson, pre-Sam Darnold. I'm just convinced the Jets are very Carolina-esque. They just don't know how to do it anymore.
They were good when Broadway Joe was there,
which was before I was alive.
Yeah, I'm not. He might have been there before I was alive. I don't know, or I was like a very small infant.
Broadway Joe.
All right, I just now remember what his last name was.
Oh, Willie Joe Namath?
Yeah, because Joe DiMaggio kept coming up in my head, and I know he's a baseball player. It's like, that is not that guy. What is his last name? I'm so glad we don't operate heavy machinery. Okay, what am I? It's called water. There we go. Found it. Being off for as long as we were, plus all this other stuff compounded, including lack of sleep, is really making this a fun challenge. New Life in the first break.
The Rob Brown Show continues. Hour number 2 is underway. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Robin the Great Lonzo with you. 6 to 10 a.m. every single weekday, right here on the Fan Upstate 97.7 FM, Greenville 97.1 FM, Spartanburg, and all around the world for free. You're welcome on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Hey, by the way, I do want to tell you guys about a fun little thing that I genuinely think you're going to love, and I know I'm going to. On the Odyssey app, AUDACY, if you haven't downloaded it yet, I'm about to give you the reason to do so. If listening to the dulcet tones of the great one every AM weren't enough for you,
you're welcome.
I have a new way. I have a new thing for you here. Grab the Odyssey app, put it on your phone, your tablet, whatever, okay? And go find the Fan Upstate. For those of you on the stream, it's going to look like this screen right here. All right, the Fan Upstate. Look, I'll even circle it with the ring light just so you get it. The Fan Upstate. And what you're going to notice is there's a new little feature on the Fan Upstate. When you go to the Fan Upstate's Odyssey app page and you pull it up, the first thing I need you to do is hit the heart button, the following button, and follow it. All right. What that's going to give you is when you log on to the Odyssey app, it's going to be the first station right there. Every time you just click it, you can play the station live anytime from 6 to 10 a.m., the Rob Brown Show. And then you've got Wire to Wire with Cole Bryson and Diesel from 3 to 7 p.m. BetMGM tonight, 7 to 11 every night. Then underneath the Fan Upstate, there's going to be 2 buttons. One of them says Listen Live. It's orange. It's right there. You can click that button, and anytime you click that button, would you look at this? On the Odyssey app. Right there. It just starts playing the show just like that. But next to that button, you're going to see a new button if you haven't opened the Odyssey app in a while. Next to that button is a little microphone button. If you click on that little microphone button, it's going to bring up our brand new feature, voice notes. Now, see, the fun thing is this. When you go to the Odyssey app and you click on that little microphone button, it's going to open up a second little screen. It's purple for those of you on the screen. It looks like that. You click.
Wow. We have orange and purple colors. Wonder where the person who did that went to school.
Well, I think that's just the Odyssey colors.
No, she went to school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did that.
Sneaky. I like it. I like that a lot, actually. So
you would.
So when you go and you click on that microphone button, it's going to bring you to another page. You click a second microphone button, and you can record a 60-second voice memo. And when you have done that, when you have finished recording your 60-second voice memo, it sends it directly to me, which means that.
Why does it just go to you?
Well, to any of us that want to get on, but.
Okay, I mean, there are other people who work here.
I don't disagree. I'm going to check this every day. Okay?
Okay.
Every day.
All right.
And so you don't have to call the show anymore. I want you to text the show. 71337. Sorry, text a fan.
That daggum Diesel.
Have at it. All right. Go to the Odyssey app, go to the Fan Upstage page, click on the little microphone app. And when you do, you can record a 60-second voice memo. And when you are done, it sends it directly to me. And here's my favoriteest of my favorite parts. You can do it 24/7, 365. It can be 2:30 in the morning. You can be 9 bourbon and diets deep. I don't care. I don't care what you want to say, how you want to say it. You got 60 seconds. Click on that microphone, record your message, send it to me. You're going to hear it on the show if it's good. You may just get the satisfaction of knowing that you made me giggle like a schoolgirl with your hilarious, dirty, and inappropriate joke. Or the knowledge that I played it with Lonzo in the Fortress of Nerditude and we made each other uncomfortable by listening to your voice memo. All right.
See, that's asking for something totally different.
I want the worst you got.
No.
I want the worst you got. All All right. If you want to Shannon Sharp it, have at it.
All right.
Go crazy.
No.
Go bananas.
No. Really. Please don't do that.
If you want to Shannon Sharp the station, you have my blessing.
If you do that, please address it to wire, because I don't want to hear that.
So go to the Odyssey app right now. If you don't have it, put it on your phone. Go to the Fan Upstage page, click that microphone button, record your 60-second memo. It can be during the show, before the show, after the show, in the middle of the night. I shan't care ever. Go to the Odyssey app, grab hit the microphone button, and when you do, drop that voice memo. Day, night, morning, afternoon, sleet, rain, shine, hail, I don't care. 60 seconds. Do your worst. Do your worst, upstate South Carolina. Hey, it's 7:06 in the morning. You got 54 minutes until you got to be to work. Or maybe your work doesn't have power and you're just hanging out listening to us this early.
67:06. That's just dumb. I don't know when that.
It's 7:06 in the morning. You have 53 and a half minutes to be to work. Math is hard. I haven't had to do it in a while. Okay. So if you don't have to go to work, congratulations. Hang out with me, Alonzo. We're all the way up till 10 a.m. If you do have to go to work, you're going to need to know what's going on in the world of sports. And if you do, you need this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying, first bathroom break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
Joey B said 60 seconds is twice as long as I need to Shannon Sharp it. That's what I'm talking. That, but a voice memo, all right? On the Odyssey app, the Fan Upstate page, click the microphone button, drop that 60-second voice note to me anytime, day or night. I don't care. Let's get weird. Make it weird. Make it uncomfortable. All right? Let's have some fun.
Just you talking about it's making me uncomfortable.
Lonzo's very concerned.
Well, I've been in radio for nearly 30 years, and I've dealt with some of this stuff before. When I first started, that's all. One of my main jobs was to pull off complaints off the complaint line, and it's just some people are really weird out there, Rob.
I love it. I love it.
I'm not sure Joe is one of them. He might be.
He's friends with me. Of course he is. Item number 1.
Oh, yeah, I got to push that thing.
Yeah.
I got to push that thing.
Item number 1. We've been off for a week and a half. All right, people? Give us a break. Cut us some slack.
I'm tired.
Relax. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 baseball games today. In all of Major League Baseball, there are just 2 being played between just 2 teams, with a 3rd team on the outside watching with great interest. Why? Because today, 2 teams are earning a playoff bid in the National League, and 1 team is getting eliminated from said postseason. The games begin at 1:10 this afternoon when Tyler McGill and Spencer Schwellenbach, representatives of the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves, kick off game 1 of a doubleheader being held at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. And here's the fun thing. The Mets and the Bravos are both playing for a playoff berth this afternoon. There is a 3rd team over in Arizona. The Diamondbacks await the results to find out if they may sneak in the back door. Here is the situation. The Braves and the Mets were supposed to play a 3-game series last week, but the incoming Hurricane Helene and some money-grabbing thought processes from Major League Baseball postponed the back 2 games. Atlanta won the first game. Then Atlanta won on Saturday on the road at Kansas City. However, they gave one back yesterday. Had the Braves won last night, they would have clinched and these games would not have become necessary. Instead, the Braves lost yesterday. The Mets and the Diamondbacks both won, meaning that this doubleheader now matters. Atlanta, New York, game 1, 110. Game 2, 440. Whoever wins the first game, they get wild card spot number 2. Whoever wins the first game, guaranteed in the playoff. The result of the second game becomes irrelevant to them. The result of the second game remains relevant to the loser of game 1 and the Arizona Diamondbacks, who await their destination. The winner of game 1 is in. If the loser of game 1 wins game number 2, they are in. However, if the loser of game number 1 is also the loser of game number 2, they are eliminated and the Diamondbacks will get in. So the Diamondbacks don't care whether it's the Mets or the Braves. They hope for a 2-game sweep today. They hope whatever team wins game 1 also wins game 2 so that they find themselves in the playoffs. However, if the Braves and the Mets split these 2 games, then the Braves and the Mets will both be in the postseason as wild card teams. So these are 2 now massively important games. It's real simple. If you're the Atlanta Braves, win a game, you're in the playoffs. That's it. That's it. If you're the New York Mets, win a game, you're in the playoffs. If you're the Arizona Diamondbacks, you hope that either the Braves or the Mets lose both games. If one of these teams gets swept today, Arizona's in. If these 2 teams split today, both of them will be going to the postseason. That's all you need to know. Game number 1, 110, Tyler Megill, Spencer Schwellenbach. Game number 2, 440, Luis Severino, Chris Sale. The Bravos decided to throw Charlie Morton at the Royals yesterday. If you get the win, great. If you don't, you got your best on the bump today for a doubleheader against the Mets. You only got to win one of the 2. Let's go to item number 2. Ross Chastain finally got to smash a watermelon yesterday. The 7th-generation watermelon farmer turned NASCAR stock car racer who has become known for his victory lane celebration of lifting a fruit? I think it's a fruit, right? Watermelon's a fruit?
It's definitely a fruit. Why would
it's got to be a fruit, right?
It's on the vine.
And it's I believe it's a fruit, the seeds are on the inside. And that is why, if I recall correctly, strawberries are actually vegetables, not fruits.
Nuh-uh.
I believe that to be true.
Strawberries are not vegetables because they're on a vine.
That's not a thing.
Fruit on the vine?
I mean, that's a saying, but I don't believe fruit has to grow on a vine, as famously apples do not.
Yeah, I was going to say trees. Yeah, I mean,
is a banana?
Trees are just like big vines.
Is a banana a fruit
towards the sky?
Botanically speaking, a banana is both a berry and a fruit. A strawberry is a fruit, but not. That was it. A strawberry is not a berry, even though we call it that. Strawberry is technically not a berry. That's why you come to the Rob Brown Show.
That is so weird. And what was the first thing that you were looking up? I agree with it.
It's very weird.
You were looking up if watermelon was a fruit, and you never actually got there.
Is watermelon a fruit or a vegetable? Like the pepper, tomato, and pumpkin, watermelon is a fruit botanically. It is the fruit of a plant originally from a vine of southern Africa, loosely considered a type of melon. Watermelon has a smooth exterior rind and a juicy, sweet interior flesh. I do not like when we call it flesh.
It's definitely flesh. You're eating the flesh of the vine. So does he smash it over his head?
No, on the ground. Drops it onto the ground.
That's
throws it onto the ground.
I want to see him doing it. Just right, on the skull.
Nerds. Anyway, Ross Chastain got the win, took the lead from Martin Truex Jr. on a restart with 20 laps to go, had to fend off title contender William Byron for the rest of the ride to the finish line, but he did get it done. However, nobody cares about that. We care about the playoff drivers. William Byron, because he did not win the race, is not locked into the next round, but he is number 1 in the standings as we head this weekend to Talladega, Alabama for a little super speedway playoff racing. Truex was eliminated from the playoffs last week, finished 3rd in what was likely his final Kansas race, but Chastain with the win, not a playoff driver. William Byron, 2nd place, is behind those 4. Came the next group of playoff drivers at this point. Carson Hocevar, not a playoff driver, but he brought out the final caution of a wreck-filled day after that spot. And then it was just on down the line. Ryan Blaney had a loose left wheel in the final stage, rallied to finish 4th, giving the defending champs postseason hopes a big boost. Ty Gibbs was 5th, followed by 4 more playoff contenders. Alex Bowman was 6th. Christopher Bell 7th after a couple of scrapes with the wall. Denny Hamlin had a problem on pit road, salvaged an 8th place finish, and Chase Elliott finished in the top 10 at number 9 after starting at the rear of the field due to an engine change. That's where we stand right now. Blaney and Bell 6 points behind Byron in the playoff standings. Larson, another 10 back. Joey Logano is in the 8th and final spot. Behind him, behind the cutoff line, is Ty Reddick, 4 points behind and 14 ahead of Daniel Suarez. Briscoe and Austin Cindric are the other players in peril with 2 races left before the next cutoff. Let's go to item number 3. Very quickly, because we're going to talk about these games at length. After a weekend of football, let's take a look at our Palmetto State football roundup. We won't spend a ton of time about it, mainly because we already did. The Carolina Panthers fall 34-24 yesterday to the Cincinnati Bengals. If you missed our breakdown of that game, you can go listen to it in the first hour of the show. We will also get to X's and O's not played by the quarterbacks coming up in the next hour of the show when we do our NFL Week 4 rundown. Back to collegiate football we go. The Clemson Tigers were at home, did decide to play that game despite the impact of Hurricane Helene on the area. They knock off a gritty Stanford team. 40-14 was your final in that one. Cade Klubnik, 15-31, but 255 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception in that game. Phil Maffa, 10 carries, just 58 yards, though he did average 5.8 yards per carry, but it was Bryant Wesco Jr. who was the breakout player of the day. 2 snags, a $104, and a tutty through the air. Cole Turner had a receiving touchdown as well. 3 catches for 61 yards. Olsen Pat Henry had a touchdown on his 2 for 24 yards, and Jake Brenningstool, 2 catches, just 8 yards, but did have a touchdown from the tight end position as well. A good all-around performance out of the Clemson Tigers, as it looks like their offense may have found a little something to be proud of after that game against the Appalachian State Mountaineers. The offense is kicked back into high gear. South Carolina was on the bye week this week. Why? Because they take on the Ole Miss Running Rebels. Up next, Ole Miss upset by Kentucky this weekend. Now, all of a sudden, they look like a beatable football team in the game this weekend. Gamecocks, Rebels. It's got a little juice to it now, doesn't it? Now, all of a sudden, there's a little tea to be sipped. Coming up on Saturday at 3:30 when on ESPN, the Running Rebels and the South Carolina Gamecocks get it on over in Columbia, South Carolina. We got to run to a break. When we come back here in just a minute, give you some of the most recent updates we have about hurricane relief around the area. I do know that there are a few hundred line crews around the area working their butts off to get power restored. I'll give you the updates that we do have. If you have any updates across the upstate, send them to me. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, 71307. We'll give you as much as we know. When we come back, Rob Alonzo and you, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
You're live.
All right, guys, one more live and we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stay All right, y'all. We're back. Oh, we're back. All right, I got a couple of things I want to jump on here as we keep an eye on hurricane relief around the area. I know there are a bunch of y'all still without power. Number one.
Us.
Including us. Both of us. Be patient. You all know this already. Not only is there a ton of damage around the area, there are giant trees down, there are power poles down everywhere. This is going to be a process, and I know that it is frustrating. I know that it is annoying. I know that it is hot. I know that not having air conditioner, for those of you that don't, is a pain. I know that there's a lot of frustration built up right now, but be patient, all right? Because I can tell you for a fact that there are line crews around the upstate busting it for long stretches of time to get everything back up and running. But it's not just that. There are folks out there that are having to cut up oak trees that are older than the country to get them out of the way so that those line crews can get where they need to be and can get to the wires they need to get to get it back up and running. So be patient. It is going to take some time. And again, I know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done by some of us at our individual houses, community to community, neighborhood to neighborhood, town to town, city to city. Be patient. All right. It's going to take time. And the point that you allow your frustration to start impacting others, you delay the process. All right. I promise you, these folks are out there working as hard as they can, as quickly as they can to get this done. And if you pull up and go full Karen on them because you haven't had AC in 2 or 3 days, you're not speeding the process up. You're slowing it down. All right. Relax, calm down. Let these people work. They are busting it. I do know that there are hundreds of out-of-town line crews that are in the area. I was told on Saturday by a gentleman out of North Carolina that there were something like 20,000 line crews driving their trucks from the other side of the Rocky Mountains to get here. All right. It takes time to get here. It takes time to get set up. It takes some time to get working. Give it time. Give it time. Give them time to get where they need to be. Give the folks that have to clear these trees out of the way time to do that. Give time to the folks that have to dig out, etc. They're working on it, I promise. Now, with all of that being said, there's a couple of other things I want to say. There were two different things on Saturday that jumped out at me. Friday that jumped out at me. Friday morning, I woke up, no power, with a giant oak tree down in my backyard that missed the window I sleep under by about 4 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, and a big tree that fell across my driveway. I was locked in. I could not leave Friday morning. And I said, all right, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm going to have to get out there with a chainsaw and go knock that thing down. I was sitting on the couch as the wife and I were like, all right, what's our plan of attack here? How are we going to handle this, right? Like, we've got to be able to get out of here, but we got a tree across the driveway. The bottom of the yard's flooded. Like, what do we do here? And somebody knocked on my door. And I was like, oh, great, right? Because the first thought I had is there's folks already out there trying to capitalize on this. Not great. So I opened the door, and it was a kid named Nick who lives 3 houses down from me. He knocked on the door, and he said, hey, we haven't met. My name's Nick. I live right in that house over there. I see there's a tree down across your driveway. Can I help you move it? And I was like, man, dude, I just don't have any cash on me. Because I don't carry cash, right? I don't carry cash. I'm like, I don't have any cash on me. He's like, no, I don't want to get paid. You can't get out. I got a chainsaw. I'm ready to work. Can I help you? I was like, dude, it's like 11:30 in the morning. Like, you're not telling me there's nothing you got to do at your house. He's like, we got work, but we can get out of my house. Can I help you? This young man came over with his own chainsaw, his own gas, and he sat there and he carved up a tree that was across my entire driveway so I could leave my house. That was it. More of that, please. Because let me tell you the other thing that I saw. We got a little generator that we run. All right. It's not a big one. It's a little generator, but it's enough to run, the fridge, the freezer, a lamp, charge our phones, all the stuff we need, the stuff we have to have day to day. So what I didn't have was gas in the gas cans. There was one gas station on my side of town, one gas station that was open. So I drove over to that gas station, knowing full well I'm going to have to wait in the line. All right. So is everybody else. That's okay. So I packed up the 2 cans. I drove over to the gas station, fully anticipating, sit in line, wait your turn, get gas. Hope there's enough. If there's not, it is what it is. We'll just be uncomfortable till the next truck shows up. Pulled up, got in line, and waited. And I saw 2 things that drove me up a wall. The first thing I watched was not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 people in trucks that drove between cars that were in line, jumped over the curb into the parking lot to jump the line to get gas. The second thing I saw was a young lady in a silver, I don't remember what it was, like a weird, one of those weird shaped cars, all right? Who I watched.
Like a Scion?
Yeah, I don't know which one it was. It was a
box, basically?
It was like boxy, but it was small. It was like a car size. It wasn't the full Scion, but it was like that shape, but small. Anyway, doesn't matter. I watched this young lady drive past what is very clearly the line to get into the gas station. Drive past it, then get to the turn lane to turn into the road that turns into the gas station, force her way into the line at the red light to jump, not exaggerating, about a mile's worth of cars. So, because the line wasn't moving, I got out of my vehicle and I knocked on her window. And when she rolled her window down, I said, I'm really sorry. I don't know if you saw, but this is the line to get in the gas station. And she said, I know, but I'm almost out of gas. To which I said, yeah, so's everybody in the line. That's why we're in the line. Now, for those of you that know Rob Brown, you know I despise confrontation. It terrifies me. I don't like it. Lonzo's seen it. We get in trouble with the boss. I am quiet as a church. You want to know how to shut me up? Yell at me. Because I'm done. I shut down immediately.
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm not that.
No, but I am. I despise confrontation. I do not confront people unless they start to put other people into a bad spot. Then I will. If you say, you impact me, I'll take it. You start putting other people in a bad spot, I'm going to speak out. Knocked on this young lady's window. She rolled down her window. I'm like, I don't know if you noticed this, ma'am. Respectfully, this is the line to get gas. You just jumped the whole line. She said, I know, but I'm almost out of gas. Yeah, so's everybody else in the line. That's why we're in the line. I said, yes, I understand that, but so am I. And so's the guy behind me and behind me. Everybody in this line is waiting to get gas. Respectfully, could you please go to the end of the line and wait your turn? She goes, no, I don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm like, I'm really sorry about that, but that doesn't give you the right to jump, because at this point I had been in line an hour, okay? I'm like, it doesn't give you the right to jump the line when people have been waiting for an hour for gas. Get in the back of the line, turn your car off, and turn it on when you can move up, okay? And she's like, yeah, no, I can't do that. I have to get back home. I'm like, we all want to go. At this point, it's everything I have not to yell. Yes, I know, we all want to go back home. So between the 4 people who jumped the curb in their truck to cut the line, and this person, I lost my mind. So here's what I'm going to say. I need you all, and I know that most of you aren't these people, but if you are one of these people and you're listening to this show, I want you to know, first and foremost, we all think you suck, all right? We all think you suck. You're a bad person. If you're the dude or the dudette who is jumping the line or who is jumping curbs so that you don't have to wait, you suck, and you're a bad person and nobody likes you. And I hope you have somewhere deep in the black of your soul, I hope you have shame. I hope there's somewhere in there you've not completely lost the capability to feel shame. You suck, and you should feel ashamed for what you did. If you're one of those people and you happen to be listening, you should be ashamed of yourself. Your mama taught you better. At least I hope they did, okay?
Maybe she didn't.
And if she did,
could be part of the problem.
Learn better, all right? Be better. Here's the thing. You're not more important than everyone else, all right? You're not. There is not a person that was in that line that you're more important than. Not one. And I don't care what's happening. You're not. You're just not. Okay? So here's what I'm going to say. And it's I know when adversity strikes, it's easy to start looking at me first. I got it. Zombie movies are so legit, dude. Like between COVID and this, zombie movies are legit. The minute there's adversity, a lot of people start looking out for number one and they don't give a damn who they hurt in the process. Trust me when I tell you this. I've been through a lot of hurricanes and I've been through a lot of hurricane relief. All right. I grew up on the Florida Panhandle. It's part of the gig. Everything moves more smoothly if you look out for the people around you, not just yourself. I promise. Everything. I know you think everything's faster and easier if I just start going, if I just take care of me, look out for number one. I get it. But I promise you, everything moves smoothly and faster if you just look out for if you pop in that line and everybody pops in that line and everybody waits in that line's going to go as quick as those gas pumps can get turned over. All right. But if you got people jumping curbs and cutting lines and wedging into traffic and running lights and all that, the line gets backed up and it takes longer for everybody. You're not more important than anyone else. Neither am I. Neither is Lonzo. None of us are more important. Do us a favor. Look out for your brethren. Look out for your brother. Look out for your sister. Because I promise you, if you do, we all come out better for it. If you're out there yelling at linemen that they're taking too long or yelling at the guy with a chainsaw that he's blocking the road trying to cut a tree down, you're not making the process faster. You're making it slower. You're taking away from the effort. All right. So take your time. By the way, if there's a traffic light out, it's a four-way stop, for God's sake. You've all taken driving school, all right? It's a four-way stop. It's not a four-way stop if you think about it. It's not a four-way stop if the guy next to you stops. Not a four-way stop if it's a four-way stop every time, every one of them, all right? Do it the right way, and it will make life smoother for everybody. Take your time, look out for your countrymen, and we'll all be better for it. Let's talk some more sports when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Wait your damn turn in line.
QC.
All right, guys, one more live when we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you.
Kevin, good to hear from you. Hey, Zach. Hey, Lester. Wesley. Kevin, how's everything down there? Because I know it's pretty rough where I am, and I know where you are, and there are a lot of trees. My uncle told me when we first moved here, he's like, look around, don't worry about tornadoes. And I was like, why? He says, look at the height of the trees and how they haven't been touched. Quite a few of those trees are gone now after the weekend. And it's so weird walking outside and going, okay, why am I seeing sky now? I should not be able to see sky. Or walking down my driveway and going, okay, well, when I first walked through there, we got a knock on the door Friday, which should not have happened. And because we lost cell service in Cameron, walked all the way up through there, climbed over trees, everything to make sure that we were good, which is awesome. That's what a son should do. And it was so cool that he scared us to death when he knocked on the door. Like, what? But it is so weird. My wife said, you've got a look on your face. I don't know what it is. It's like everything's different now because the landscape has changed so much. That lane that you drive down for 20 years, now it don't look like that anymore. So it's going to take some getting used to, but so thankful that we were okay. Because I was worried to the point where I'm thinking, okay, I need to quit looking out the window. Because if I'm going to get squished, do I want to see it? Do you? Do you want to see it? I don't know. Morning, James. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you, Mr. Announcer Guy. The text message line is open as well. 71307 is the text line number. 71307. Start your text with Fan FAN.
So I just want to say thanks to Cornship. I know that we're being overrun by an FM signal right now, but at least it's Freebird. I mean, if it's going to be something, might as well be Freebird, I guess.
Banger. Hey, if you can hear us on the radio, welcome back. If you can't, it doesn't matter what I say. You can't hear me.
Yeah, I mean, that's I had to have a conversation with someone many years ago who was getting mad. If you can hear me, it's like, dude, they can't hear you. They just said we're off the air. But, I mean, this was before streaming and stuff. And it's like, yeah.
If you happen to know somebody who knows somebody, if you happen to know somebody who is a fan of the show, and is texting you going, yo, where's Rob Brown at this morning? Do me a favor, direct them to the stream, will you? Send them on over to the stream. Available at facebook.com/The Fan Upstate, The Fan Upstate on YouTube, or The Rob Brown Show on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch.
They ain't looking for you. They're looking for me. You can tell them that I'm here.
Look for Lonzo.
I mean,
fine.
Rob's here too.
That's also true.
I mean, after he took a week and a half off, and then he just decides to show up today.
I was busy.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, I was busy. I'm married now. We've been married.
How's that feel, by the way? Because we really haven't talked about. I mean, you talked about it a little bit. Is there a difference?
No.
I mean,
no. We've lived together like 2.5 years.
I was going to say that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. I almost. The only thing is,
I was looking to see if you switch the ring. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Look at this one. The brown ones are T-Rex fossil, and the silver ones are meteorite.
Sweet.
Isn't that great? I don't know if it's going to show up on the stream, but it's pretty great. The only thing is I have one more thing that I've added to my morning routine, which is grab the ring on the way out the door. Don't be that guy.
Wait, you don't sleep with the ring on?
No, God, no. You know what the biggest problem is? I ordered the ring.
Don't be acting like that's weird.
No. Let me turns out the second half of that sentence. The weird thing is that I ordered this ring about 30 pounds ago, so it's like a size and a half too big.
I've had that experience because believe it or not, I lost a lot of weight at one point, which I haven't, I found it again, in the middle of a show with Greg McKinney back in the day. I just got up and walked out, and they had no idea why I walked out. I lost so much weight. I washed my hands. My ring came off when I dried my hands, and I went in and went through the trash in the bathroom to find my ring.
Here's my horror story. It's right in line with yours. I got married. I put the ring on. We went to the reception, had a lovely reception. And about 3 hours into the 4-hour reception, the photographer, lovely young lady named Mariah, spectacular individual, loved her to death.
Wait, people are actually named Mariah?
With an O.
Okay.
Mariah.
Okay.
So Mariah, she walks up to my beautiful blushing bride, and she says, "Hey, if you guys will jump in the pool in your suit and dress and let me get pictures of it, I will give you a free 1-year anniversary photography shoot. Full details, like full deal," which I have come to learn ain't cheap. And the wife said, because we got married on the beach, my dress is ruined already. Who cares? Let's do this. Which means we're doing this, right?
Wait. So you jumped in that suit that you're so proud of, the custom tailored suit.
Not the jacket, but the pants and the shirt, yes.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, they got dry cleaned immediately.
Will chlorine mess that?
No, saltwater pool. We were good.
Okay.
If it would have been chlorine, I'd have been like, yeah, I'll do it, but I'm going up to change into pants that look like these first. Jumped in, made it like, and once we jumped in, we were the first ones in. Once we were in, it turned into a pool party. All right. Like half the people there were like, screw it, bride and groom are in, let's go. Turned into a pool party. Well, having the time of my life, the frat bros have jumped in. A bunch of the band is just like everybody's in the pool. We're all hanging out. We're in there about 5 minutes before I reach over to high five because I'm a high fiver. When I high five, ring's gone, dude.
At least you're
ring's
not
gone.
At least you're not hugging in the pool.
No, he hugged a lot too. I'm a hugger too.
You're a pool hugger?
Hug life. Oh yeah, hug
be
life.
A pool hugger.
Hug
man.
life. Don't make things weird. Bros hug. All right, brothers hug.
Not in the pool. They don't.
Brothers hug. Yeah, they do. So I realize as I go to high five one of my fraternity brothers, I've had this ring on 4 hours. It's gone. It's gone. Vamonos. Adios. No way. I'm like, oh no. Well, one of my buddies is a search and rescue diver down in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Are you serious?
Swear to you. So my buddy Mark, search and rescue diver. I'm like, hey, come here. And he's like, is everything okay? Like you can see him click into cop mode, right? He's like, is everything all right? And I go, my ring's missing. And he goes, I'm on it. This dude is like head underwater and he's gone. He's gone. And then out of nowhere, he pops up from the center of the pool like Gollum from the lava, holding it like this, right? In the air above his head. And he comes up, and as he comes above the water, he's just, ah! I'm like, did you find it? And he's holding it as if it is like the one ring to rule them all, which in that moment it was.
So why not be discreet and not?
Oh no,
let people...
he was, and don't get me wrong, I was too. He was really fast. There's 35, 40 people in this pool. You can't see, like, this would have been the spot to be like, everyone out of the water. I need the water to stop moving. Nope, can't do that. Too many people, no microphone.
But why announce that he found something you lost, which is pointing out that you lost it?
I didn't care.
I mean, it's amazing that he did all that. But
underwater, dude's gone. He is underwater for like. When I say he doesn't come up for like 2 minutes, I'm not exaggerating. Like, dude swept the pool multiple times, comes up with it. I was like, great. I lost the ring in like 4 hours. Now I have already developed the nervous habit of just like tapping it on things to make sure it's still there.
It's a good move.
You know.
It's a good move.
So that would have been great. Anyway, point is, everything was awesome. It was fantastic.
You know what? Right. Eventually, I don't know if you can see.
You got an indentation.
I do.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you've been married for coming up on 31 years.
I got a minute. I will say this, 10 days in, we're not divorced yet. So I feel like everything's going great. Everything's going great. So, but we're glad to be back. Let's see. Brandon, Texas Show said, congrats, brother. Appreciate you, big dog. Texas said, where did you guys go? I'm listening to classic rock right now. Yeah, we're working on that. I'm sure Captain America, Chris Evans down the hall, who has just been having a lovely 3.5 days, 4 days now, is all over it. Let's see.
Has his beard turned any more gray?
I can't imagine.
He's already big time Santa Claus. It's shocking.
Can't imagine he doesn't come in here looking like John
Daly. Daly. Yeah,
for sure. Texas said, Rob, I've kind of enjoyed being cut off for the last couple of days. It's been nice not having Wi-Fi or power. Our neighborhood has been quiet and peaceful. Can I tell you last 2 nights, last 2 nights about 7 o'clock, she and I have sat down on the couch. I have not watched football the last 2 nights. The last 2 nights, what I've done is I have grabbed the Odyssey app. I have found the football game I've wanted to listen to. I've put it on my phone. I popped in an earbud, and we have sat and read books by candlelight. I am now 2 books into a series on the Revolutionary War I'm reading. That's absolutely spectacular. I went out last night to take the dog out. The neighborhood was silent. There was not a light to be seen. The stars through the clouds were as beautiful as I've ever seen them in the upstate of South Carolina. There was a moment that I'm like, crap, I have to do this now. Now this is a thing. Like once a week, I have to shut off all the lights and read a book by candlelight because I enjoy it a lot. I'm just old now. I don't know what you want.
We'll see if you actually do it. I have enjoyed catching up on reading. And I think a lot of people don't read. I mean, you got to find something to occupy your time, especially in our case, we couldn't go anywhere.
I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, we were trapped. So it's like, okay, here's a book that I bought like a couple months ago. I meant to start reading. And then I'm like 150 pages into it going, okay,
pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Also read a bunch of comic books. I mean, reading is not, it's a good thing.
Pretty good. Big fan.
Reading is fundamental according to that thing that played back when I was a kid.
Texas said, Rob, you may know ball, but you suck at knowing fruits and veggies. Tomatoes are fruits. They seed from within. So watermelon is a fruit. I did go look up the primary differences between fruits and vegetables, and I'll give you your biology lesson later on in the show.
They seed from within. That sounds like
that is part of the.
Yeah, I know, but it
is part of the application, but not necessarily true for either party.
Does that mean xenomorphs or because they?
No, they make you seed from within. So if a facehugger gets you now, you're a vegetable.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know. Texter said, congrats on the wedding, Rob. Missed the show for sure. LFG Braves, 1 win and in. Yep, just need one. Just need one of the 2
Yeah, but
today.
Rob already said they're not making it, so there's no sense in
watching. What I said
it.
is, I don't know if I care if they make it or not because they're going to get swept out in the wild card round. So what's it matter? What's it matter? Texter said, Rob, I'm a Falcons fan, and I completely agree with you. The Panthers have done BY wrong. Yeah, I mean, that's it. But again, he also has not gotten better. I do need to see development, even if the development is not being assisted by the Panthers.
He kind of got worse. I'm just saying.
He has gotten worse. Yeah. But again, you can, okay, you know what the comparison is? I was trying to come up with a comparison, and this is what I've come up with. Lonzo, you and I very frequently, one of the gimmicks we do on the stream, we haven't done it in a while, but one of the gimmicks that we run on the stream, which is where I'm assuming the only place that we can be heard right this very second. One of the gimmicks that you and I have done on the stream for many, many years is whenever like a random Walmart parking lot fight video makes its way on social media, we break that thing down, right?
Always fun. Yeah.
It's always fun. We honestly break it down as if we are watching like a championship caliber
almost saw
MMA
one of those
match.
last night. I had the phone ready just in case.
Oh, dude, the couple of grocery stores that are open in my hood. Oh yeah, they're bad. Stop doing that. Stop being that guy. All right, stop. So, one of the things that we watch is amateur like parking lot fight videos because they're hilarious to me. They're dumb and hilarious. But if you've ever watched them, the one thing that you come to learn, and as somebody who has been in the world of boxing, has worked in the world of boxing for many years, one thing that you will learn is that just fighting does not make you a better fighter. Now, there may be elements that you pick up, right? You may pick up that sticking your chin out real far is a real good way to get the night button pushed, all right? Throwing a left jab or not throwing the left jab and just trying to throw all haymakers, real good way to get yourself put to sleep.
Anthony Joshua.
Bingo, right? Bingo. Fighting does not make you a better fighter. If you want to learn to be a better fighter, you must learn to fight. You must develop as a fighter. There may be certain elements of fighting that you might get better at by getting into fights, but you will not become a better fighter like a person who learns to fight. The only way to do that is to go somewhere where people know the science, teach you the art, and then learn that and then apply that. Bryce Young has been thrown into a bunch of Walmart parking lot fights and then is expected to go win heavyweight titles. That's not how it works. And the comparison that I've made is RIP Kimbo Slice. You remember Kimbo Slice? Kimbo Slice was this big, gigantic dude who made himself famous, his 15 minutes.
Hiding in the backyard.
Yeah, he would go around and he would just fight regular dudes. He was this big jack guy, and he would go around and he would just get into fights with people, just randomly. He would go challenge them and be like, if you beat me, I'll give you $100 or whatever, like stupid stuff. And he became famous for just fight. And he would fight anybody. Like he'd fight stuntmen from action movies and amateur. He'd fight anybody. And he got very famous. And then he got picked up. Was it UFC that picked him up?
Yeah, it was UFC.
Yeah. Do you remember what happened to him when he actually started fighting fighters?
It was not good.
He got his ass beat.
He did.
A lot of times. That's Bryce Young. They threw him into a bunch of fights. They said, here's a meth head in a parking lot. Go get in a fight. And he got in that fight. And then they said, go over there. There's a drunk in a bar. Go fight that guy. And then he'd go fight that guy. And then this year started and they went, great. You're in the UFC Bantamweight Championship. Notice I put him in the Bantamweight. You're welcome. You're in the Bantamweight Championship. It turns out.
Is he a bantam?
I don't know. Whatever the super lightweight, flyweight. Super flyweight.
I thought he was a little bit heavier than that.
I don't know. Point is, they put him into a championship match this year, and all of you expected, despite the fact that Bryce Young has been training Kimbo Slice style, that is to say, fighting a bunch of drunks in a parking lot.
Oh, you were talking about Bryce Young. You weren't talking about Kimbo.
Not Kimbo. No, Kimbo was a super heavyweight.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That dude was the superest of super heavyweights.
That's where I got confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's been Kimbo slicing. And then this year, Canales shows up, and you all expecting him to be a championship caliber fighter in an organization. That's not how it works. He's Kimbo Slice.
Okay, I thought he was a bust from the beginning, so I never thought that. I mean, I hoped he would do better, but yeah, so don't put me in that camp.
Okay, I won't put you in that camp. I am going to put you in the camp of labeling the cat a bust before he even straps on a helmet is a bad way to evaluate.
Okay.
All right, it just is.
All right.
Well, so
GED and ball. What
GED and ball. So
I was right though.
That's my comparison.
Did you notice that I said it was right? I don't know.
No, I'm ignoring that you're right because we don't know that you're right yet.
Okay, well,
we don't know
at this moment.
Do you honestly think Bryce Young's gotten a fair chance?
Yes.
No,
I do. I think he's got just as much chance of any. I mean, a number one pick is going to a bad team. That's how that works. That's how the draft works. That's supposed to make parity in the NFL.
Do you think that there are bad teams that are not created?
Chiefs are awesome, by the way.
Some bad teams are worse than other bad teams. This dude is on the worst bad team, and I say this with very slight hesitation. This bad team is the worst team since the 0-16 Detroit Lions. And honestly, I'm not kidding. They might last year.
Still pretty
they
sure
might have been worse than that.
Still pretty sure the Panthers didn't win a game one year. I thought under Seifert, but I could be wrong.
I don't know. I don't remember. The point is, this is the worst bad team in at least the last few decades. So no, I don't think he ever got a fair shake, which is why I very much hope. We were talking about him maybe being traded. I hope he goes to Miami and he lights the world on fire. I will come in here and laugh like a friggin' idiot. I mean, I laugh like that every time I laugh, but you get the point. Sports Flash!
The Carolina Panthers were competitive, but ultimately fell to the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday. 34-24, Andy Dalton finished 25 of 40 for 220 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and one interception, while Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow was 22 of 31 for 232 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. Chuba Hubbard ran for 104 yards and a touchdown on 18 carries, while Xavier Legette scored his first professional touchdown and then spiked it and ran away. I never understand that. Carolina drops to 1-3 on the season. The Atlanta Falcons won a thriller over the New Orleans Saints yesterday, 26-24, with the 58-yard field goal with 2 seconds left on the clock. The Saints scored a go-ahead touchdown with 1 minute left, leading to a Kirk Cousins drive for the game winner. Tune in Saturday at 12:30 as Furman Paladins take on the Citadel Bulldogs. It's Furman versus Citadel right here on your home for Paladins football. The Fan, Upstate. So it's like, like when your brain, it's just, I mean, it's moving fast enough, but nothing else is. It's like that. It's exactly like that. Okay, that's news to me. Yeah, to a degree, I am. Especially the way that happens, Zach. I mean, that was a horrible way to when your own player takes you out. And yeah, I mean, those things happen. But usually someone steps up. I mean, look who returned to the Chiefs yesterday and had a pretty good game. Someone who they let go of a couple years ago. So, I mean, one thing that Mahomes has been able to do is adapt to the loss of someone. And Kelsey was getting all the attention, double and triple teamed, where, oh, what's wrong with Kelsey? He's getting double and triple teamed, which left Rashee Rice open. That's why he was having such a good season. Someone else will fill that role. Maybe it's Xavier Worthy, who had an awesome touchdown yesterday. Maybe it's going to be Gator. I want Gator to do more. Gator. Steal. New life in the next break, which would be the first break of this hour.
New life in the next break, which is the very first break in this hour.
Yeah, huh?
That's what you see it.
Yeah, huh?
These are going to hurt you, sir.
Oh, it's because I.
What you doing? You all right? I've had those moments a couple times.
Good night.
Today.
I reached over to turn my mic on, and when I did, so on our mic base is an on button, an off button, and a cough button. And right next to the on-off button is the volume knob. And so when I went to push on, because I got this clanky-ass ring on I'm still getting used to, the ring caught the volume knob and turned it all the way down, but I didn't know that happened, so my headphones just cut off completely. And I had we'll call it a mild anxiety attack there for just a second.
It was fun to watch. I'm glad you guys got to see it.
Wholesale panic. I don't know.
I've done that every time I've read the Sports Flash. So, I mean...
I don't know if we're back on the air yet. We're just going to continue to press on as if we are.
Hey, by the way, you keep doing because of new technology and how things work. We are live on the Odyssey app.
We are live on the Odyssey app always.
So if we're not on the air, we're on the Odyssey app. So tune into that, or you can watch us on stream.
Yes, indeed. Hey, 8:00. You know what we do at 8:00? I know what we do at 8:00. I know it's been a week and a half. We do the audio blitz. It's the best sound that we found over the past couple of days across all of social media. Let us begin with this one. Nope. Baker Mayfield has been having a season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Relax, Aaron Andrews. I also want to hear what Baker Mayfield had to say. Baker was talking to EA after the game was over. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers knock off the Philadelphia Phillies, and EA had some questions for the Bake Show.
You wanted to get the offense looking like it did the first couple of weeks. How'd you do it? What was key?
Just being detailed. You know, like what we put on tape last week, as we discussed throughout the week, was just, it's not what we want to do. And that's that's the kind of group we have, taking ownership of it, getting it corrected, and just coming out starting really fast. You know, there's still a lot to improve on. Had a lull there towards the end of the second quarter where we really could have put the game out of reach, but yeah, we started fast, which we needed to do.
You're so good at this. That was my next question. Starting fast. Why? How were you able to do it? What was key?
Just everybody locked into the game plan, understanding exactly how we wanted to attack these guys, and a lot of guys stepped up. I mean, once again, Justin School starting at right tackle played really well. A lot of receivers that normally aren't in there stepped up in a big way. My guy Chef, happy for him. Trey Palmer obviously came out of the game, but a lot of guys stepping up and just locked into the plan.
Now, why are you playing this, Rob? That's boring. Yeah, no, I know. It's not that I played it for. It's for the third question in this baby interview.
There wasn't a lot of coaches speaking there. Man,
no.
He is very praiseworthy.
Sounds like a grown-up quarterback. Sounds like a mature quarterback. Sounds like a quarterback who gets it. Doesn't sound like the fun-loving Baker Mayfield that we've all come to know and love as Baker. And then EA asked her final question, and Baker went Baker.
Talked a lot about the heat today and what it was like. I have no idea what it's like to play in this heat. Can you give us an idea?
I changed my pants at halftime. So
I wish I had.
Yeah, it's a little toasty out here.
Baker Mayfield suffering from a condition that we all know, we all love around the South. That condition known affectionately as swamp ass.
Unfortunately, a lot of us are feeling that every night when we're trying to, or when we go home because we have no power and no air. And it's just like, yeah.
Some of us with chronic cases of the swamp ass right now. Baker Mayfield suffering the swamp ass immensely down in Tampa Bay, Florida. That wasn't the only audio that Baker Mayfield was involved with. See, Baker Mayfield was talking a little bit about this game before the game started, and Baker Mayfield was asked, hey, talk to us a little bit about your personality and your role as a leader. And he made this comment with great anticipation.
Quote, they wanted me to come in, be myself, bring the joy back to football for guys who weren't having as much fun. It's funny because
Now, you heard.
That wasn't Baker Mayfield.
Nah, it wasn't. It was the play-by-play guy reading Baker's quote. All right. He said, hey, they just brought me in here to remind the boys of the joy of the footballs, to have some fun, to enjoy ourselves a little bit. And the play-by-play guy went to his color commentator, one Thomas Wayne Christopher Alfred Brady the 16th. Okay. And Brady, for some reason, decided that this was like a personal shot at him. And, well, ugh.
It's funny because you've made this environment for me very stressful up here in the booth. So I understand where he's coming from.
Do you feel it?
No.
Feel the stress? No. Well, I was going to say, I thought stressful was not having Super Bowl rings. So there was a mindset of a champion that I took to work every day. This wasn't daycare. If I wanted to have fun, I was going to go to Disneyland with my kids.
Yeah. So, as you were saying,
wasn't that painful? Wasn't that painful?
I feel like there's more in there to say.
There's a way to approach this game.
Yeah.
And it's that with the right mindset and try to push each other outside of our comfort zone. And great teammates do that. You come in, I have someone like Gronkowski, I have someone like Evans. There's high expectations for us. We got to make sure we go out there and deliver.
Shut up, Tom.
That is the most emotion
Tom.
he showed in the booth so far. And I'm surprised we didn't hear a whole lot of, because that's what is very, very, I can't believe she said that.
You guys,
was.
You guys know I love Tom Brady. All right. I'll be the first to admit I was a Brady guy because, as I've said, with the exception of Lonzo, every one of us wanted to be Tom Brady before Tom Brady was. Everyone.
I am not alone in my thoughts.
Very few guys wanted to grow up to be a multi-time Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl MVP, date the hottest women in the world, marry them, et cetera, et cetera. None of us wanted that, right? That's a crazy thought. No, we all wanted to be Tom Brady.
No, he went to Michigan. No.
With the exception of Lonzo and probably a few other Buckeye fans. The point here is I love Tom Brady, but Tom, shut the hell up, dude. Stop it. All right? Like, it is wonderful. That's how you attack the game. And it very clearly
You know what intensity is? Is throwing my iPad and showing everybody this is how an adult is.
This whole, if you don't do it my way, you're doing the wrong way thing is dumb. And I will tell you right now, as a member of the not one time, not two time, but three time South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio, the Show a Year award-winning team, I promise you, I've been told a lot of times throughout my career, Rob, the way you do radio is dumb and bad. All right. I've been told that a lot of times.
And it still happens.
I still get told that a lot of times.
It still happens.
Rob, the way you do radio is dumb and bad, and yet here Zoe and I sit just dripping with crystal trophies from the South Carolina
Bling is
Broadcasters
real, yo.
Association.
Bling is real.
Shut up, Tom. All right. Like, it's great that it worked for you. Some people like to enjoy things. Some people like to have fun when they do the thing that they do. I like to have fun when I do the thing that I do, and we're the Tom Brady of local sports talk radio.
Listen, intensity does have its place. It's funny they just showed Tom Brady.
Yeah, they really.
Intensity has its place, but dude, you're not on the field anymore, and there's you probably thought that actually Baker's doing something you couldn't do lately, and that's win with this team.
I mean. I wouldn't go that far. Brady does have 7 rings.
Yeah, and he got a Super Bowl there. He did, and then the team was pretty mediocre after that, and barely won the South, and shouldn't have. I mean, because what were their records each year after? I mean, it was not good.
Point here is, shut up, Tom. Florida State took on Southern Methodist University down in Dallas, Texas this past weekend. Things are real bad in Tallahassee, Florida. The Noles are now 1-4 after getting hammered on the road by the Stangs.
They won a game?
They did. I cannot remember who it was against.
I don't remember them winning a game.
They did. It was against a Cupcake. Was it?
Okay.
Cal. They beat Cal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they beat Cal. And nobody else. So here we are. The Noles down 28-16 at the beginning of the fourth quarter. SMU waiting on a replay challenge to see if they have scored a touchdown to go up 35-16. Spoiler alert, they did, but that's not the audio. I want you to listen real closely, not to the announcers talking about the replay. I want you to listen to the background, specifically the sounds of the SMU Mustang Band playing in the background. It's pretty good.
That's clearly a touchdown. That's in the blue. Now, that's not a straight down the line angle from the pylon, but that's pretty clear and indisputable evidence.
Thumbs up around the booth here. We all think
around the booth.
We think it'll be overturned and ruled a touchdown for Daniels, which, by the way, Roderick Daniels plugged into the run game tonight because of the injuries, would get his first touchdown of the year.
After further review, the runner extended the ball across the goal line, which resulted in a touchdown.
In the background, you can hear the SMU marching band playing a sad war chant, and it's the funniest damn thing I've ever heard a band do.
It was so flaccid. That's what I was thinking. That's exactly that's trolling.
Yeah,
to such a
spectacular.
Degree. We're gonna play your song, but play it really bad on purpose.
Wow. My favorite part was the emphasis in the middle on the tubas when they went. Like, it's the best thing. I laughed so hard when I heard that for the first time. Absolutely spectacular. Kentucky beat Ole Miss, and the Kentucky fans were having a wonderful time on social media after they put down Joey Freshwater.
Ole Miss has been running their mouth all week about how they gonna whip Kentucky, about how Kentucky ain't gonna do nothing. Remember when Kentucky and Georgia played? That was not a fluke, son. Kentucky's pretty good, and they done gave Ole Miss all they can handle. Maybe a little too much. Ole Miss setting up to kick a field goal to tie this game, to possibly take it to overtime after faking injuries all day. They faked 2 injuries on 1 Kentucky possession, and if you deny that they were faking them injuries, you're blind, son. You're blind. The kicker's setting up. Let's see what happens here, baby. 20-17, Kentucky. Whoa, son! The snap is back. The kick is up, and he hooks that sucker left, baby. And I'm talking about it never had a chance. That one is no good, son. You injury faking self. Kentucky done come into Ole Miss. Let me tell you what they done. They done kicked your ass, son. Whoa!
That was my Uncle Calvin.
Let me tell you what they done.
That sounds like all my family reunions, because all my family's from Kentucky. Then they moved to Ohio, and all my generation is from Ohio. But that's a family reunion right there.
Let me tell you what they done.
Let me tell you what they done. They done kicked your ass, son. Wow!
Ladies and gentlemen, the newest addition to the Rob Brown soundboard.
Let me tell you what they done. They done kicked your ass, son. Wow!
Then he broke out the banjos and brought out some food, and it was a good time.
Let me give you another Another one that has made its way to the Rob Brown soundboard. The New Orleans Saints lost the heartbreaker 26-24. Your final on the road at the Atlanta Falcons yesterday. The Saints.
You okay? You all right?
No, I'm not.
Because that was rough. For
no,
you.
I'm not good.
Okay,
I'm not good. Yeah, this little beauty of a sound clip comes from the HTM radio show down in New Orleans, Louisiana, baby. And that's what the funny accent's gonna be in this video. This is an online radio show that takes reaction calls from Saints fans. And, Saints fans were not feeling great yesterday. Not great,
Saints
Bob.
Lose in the most Saints fashion you could possibly imagine. Spread quarters, the River Parish Trash Line.
Hey, this is Daniel. We suck.
So as you can tell, that's where the spirits are.
All right, for a moment, I thought that was Matt Man from down the hall at the first part of the guy doing the interview, not the other guy.
No, that's
Fat Boy.
That's a young fella down in New Orleans, Louisiana, done hooked up to his internet to be sad with his friends. And ladies and gentlemen, the second newest addition to the Rob Brown soundboard.
We suck.
Yeah, but your team's pretty good. So when are you actually going to be able to play that?
We're 2-2.
We suck.
You're not Carolina, though.
Any comment, random Panthers fan?
We suck.
When do they play the Panthers again? That's coming up, right?
November 3rd, and I'm not going to lie to you.
Fear the rifle. I'm still going to call him the rifle. Fear the rifle.
I'm terrified we're losing that game. I'm terrified I'm going to take my ass up to Charlotte, North Carolina. The wife wants to go. I'm like, good, I might need you there as my therapist because I'm terrified we're going to lose. And if we lose to Carolina, Rashad Beard is going to be absolutely insufferable.
Certified hater mode.
And I'm terrified of it because the New Orleans Saints,
we suck.
John Kruk calls Philadelphia Phillies games on NBC Philadelphia up in, this may shock you, Philadelphia. John Kruk is a former Philadelphia Philly who has exactly and precisely zero to give on the radio. John Kruk was deep in a game for the Phillies when he noticed in the box next to him, that's where the organist plays. Right? Well, the organist had brought like 3 or 4 kids, I assume, like maybe his son and some friends or whatever, into that box to hang out and watch the game.
Is that organ like above? Is the dude really short playing the organ the way he did that?
I don't know how organs work. So these kids were in the box. They're having a good time while whoever is playing the organ. Kruk decides to kill some time. He's going to have a little fun with these kids. So he leaned over and this happened.
I'm going to talk to this kid. I ain't got nothing else to do.
See if you can scare him. You scared him. You scared them. You scared the poor kid. Look, he's looking at it. 1-1 is hit foul. It's 1-2. He doesn't know what to do anymore. He doesn't know if he should go over. There he is, John. You're making amends.
John Kruk leaned over, scared the daylights out of this poor kid. They kept putting him on camera. The kid after that was just like staring straight ahead until Kruk eventually leaned out and gave him a thumbs up. But my favorite part was that my dude on play-by-play gave us this, Jim.
I thought there was a pitch clock. I thought things went faster. How'd they have that much time in between pitches?
I don't know.
I mean, that was a lot of time.
That's the beauty and the art of John Kruk.
I will say,
my man literally started the clip by saying, I'm going to scare this kid. I've got nothing better to do. He is on national television calling a game live and in process. And he goes, I got nothing better to do. I'm going to lean over and screw with this kid.
Baseball announcers are so good, though, because they're just able to do that and the 1-1 pitch and then go back to whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, as a dude who can, likes to think that he can. Play-by-play any sport.
Number 2, baby. Number 2 right over there.
I'm the second best sports broadcaster in this state, according to the SCBA. Somebody who can call play-by-play for just about any sport. Baseball is my favorite because it is the one sport where you are expected to actually have a personality. Like it's the one where you have to be 85% entertainer and 15% play-by-play guy. Like that's most baseball. Baseball is arguably the easiest sport to play-by-play, but it's the hardest to do because you've got to be an entertainer. 85% of the game, you've got to be able to talk about everything else that ain't baseball happening. And then occasionally, hey, all these clips go together. Here's my take on the New Orleans Saints versus the Atlanta Falcons.
Let me tell you what they done. They done kicked your ass, son. Wow.
We suck.
Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Good life.
All right, guys, quick live and we're back. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing this around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. All right, we're back. Thanks for hanging in there, everybody. Appreciate you, Zach. Thank you very much. James Crook is a legend. I love that dude.
Oh, no. I swore he said they were in Vegas. I'm like, oh, crap. No, they were not. Take us off the thing for a second.
Be right back. On the stream to discuss this.
Look up Punado because you need to see the video if it shows up. In China, they were working on a sewer line.
Okay.
And it exploded. And it went over everybody.
I just got hit with a video of a large group of sperm whales unleashing a punado to escape likely fatal attack.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean that's
what a defense mechanism. That might be my thing. Anytime somebody wants to fight me, punado.
That's what a skunk basically does, except it's, Did you find the video?
No, I'm gonna look for it after the show. Or I'm not. I don't know
I would
yet.
look up Chinese punado. That's what they called it in the story. The people on the ground, so to speak, called it a punado. No, it's poopnado. I'm sorry. I forgot to pee. I said it wrong. It's a poop volcano. So it's a poopcano. All right, we got time. I just sent it to you.
Hooray.
Well, I think you really need to see it. I mean, the video is not that long. I'm curious about what you were actually, I said on the air, would you sit underneath that if you could have your power back on right now?
No.
Absolutely, I would.
I'm camping.
And
right
then
now.
other people said the same thing on the air. Yep, bring it on. I can wash that off, and then I have power. And I can wash it off with the hot water in my house. You see it?
No, I'm mentally preparing.
Shame that you refuse to look at.
Not refuse, just need some time. Hashtag help Ryan Bud Alonzo get rich. Yes, please.
Tim labeled one of the sports flashes Spowitz. Spowitz A. Now we're on the next break. I can't believe you won't look at that. This is wimpy, man. You should look at it.
No, explain to the people what
I
it
know,
is.
I know I'm breaking the 8 seconds, but I'm probably going to be in trouble for something anyway.
You already did it.
Yeah, there's a poop.
Explain to the people.
There's a poopcano. That's how it was being described by people on the ground in China, where they were working on a sewer pipe, I guess, and it exploded and it spewed the poo all over the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And Saturday I asked, would you be willing to have that happen to you to have your power turned back on right now?
Mm-mm.
And everybody said yes. There was no one who said no, that if I recall.
I'm saying no.
I can wash that off. So right now, if the poop cano were to go off and cover you in the feces, you can wash off the feces.
Time out on this.
And then you have your electric back right now.
I need it known right now. I need it known that this is a Lonzo conversation, not a Rob conversation. Rob didn't bring this up. Rob is not in charge of the poop-nado conversation.
It was a cano. Poop
cano.
Yeah. I didn't
bring this up.
It's a legitimate story. I even sent you the video, but you won't watch it.
I'm not ready. I'm not prepared. I'm not mentally prepared. All right. I gotta get there. I'm not there yet.
Wow, you actually. So there are things it's one thing that this player's knee turned backwards. I got to prepare for that.
I can't do that either.
Yeah. I will watch that accidentally, but never on purpose. But this, it's a legitimate news story, and it's something that So text line 71307. If you could, if you'd had to endure the poop cano for just like a minute or so to get your power back on right now, would you do it? Because I would, and Rob would not.
No, Rob would not.
You don't care about your power.
My water heater's gas. I got hot water. I'm good.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't take the cold plunge this morning like I did.
I'd be dirty
at 3-something a.m. and it's like, oh, I am so awake right now.
I see you, James. I see what you did there. No. I'm good. I'm good. I will I'll just be hot a couple more nights. That's all. Anyway, hey, as a heads up.
They're working on our signal.
They're working on it.
Yeah, we're getting some replies from engineering that is very busy. So
very busy.
If you're hearing this,
congrats.
Which I think is funny.
Elite club.
If you're hearing this, because you're obviously hearing this.
Hey, you know who I did not get to in the audio blitz?
Ooh.
Well, let's start with Carolina, Cincinnati. This happened.
Bengals got charged their second time out with the Pratt injury. Play action. Dalton rolling, throwing on the run. Touchdown. Xavier Legette into the end zone for the first time in his NFL career.
And they threw the ball away. Listen, be understand your situation. You just scored your very first NFL. Hopefully you got it back. I don't know if you got it back or not. This happens in Kansas City all the time, and Patrick Mahomes always goes and gets the ball and gives it to the receiver.
Well, that's because Patrick Mahomes is the best of us. Aliens show up tomorrow and they're like, take us to your leader. Bring him to Pat.
No, I'm going to say to Mark Ryan. And there he is. Go to Detroit. That's our leader right there. But that's just me.
So Xavier Legette.
I hope there's no probing. That's all I'm saying.
That's why you'd send him. Xavier Legette scores his first NFL touchdown, and very unique, Selly, as he gets TD number one, as Lonzo points out, gets rid of the football and then pretends to ride an imaginary horse around the back of the end zone. He was talking after the game with Carla Metz-Gebhardt of Charlotte Sports Live, and Miss Charla Metz-Gebhardt asked him, what was up with the celly, bro?
I want you to take me through this touchdown celebration. Are we calling it the giddy up? Like, what is this?
Oh, man, we can call it the giddy up, man. But, I ride horses, and it seems like everybody just love my countryness. And so I told everybody this week that I'm going to ride dollar bill off the field if I score. So, man, that's what I did.
Did you practice this at home? Like, how far in advance did you think that this was going to be your touchdown celebration?
Man, so early in the week, I had a podcast with Devo, and they kind of asked me, they was like, I feel like this is going to be your first game to get a touchdown. What your celebration going to be? I told them I was going to ride dollar bill. I showed them.
Is there a certain technique that you have for this, or it's just whatever your body says at the moment?
Oh, no, man. So really, man, I just threw the leg across to get on the saddle and just ride them off.
Protect this man at all cost. All right. If anybody ever comes for Xavier Leggett, I want the National Guard called out. No. I want the National Guard and the Army and the Navy and the Air Force and the Marines and every other clandestine militaristic organization that we have. I need them all there to protect this man from any and all threats that may ever be levied against him. He is an icon. He is a legend.
Yeah, that sort of thing gets you kicked off the PGA Tour, according to Happy Gilmore, I think. I mean,
and hit it off Frankenstein's fat foot.
Yeah.
Xavier Leggett riding the imaginary horse $1 bill.
I'm glad he got a name for it. I mean, so I get that really is his horse, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah. You know what? I respect the man paying homage to his actual horse. What a dude. What a guy. What a bro.
I think the horse was watching.
What a bro. What a bro. You know, $1 bill was watching from the stable, you know? $1 bill. What an incredible moment. Hey, we got to take a break because John Blau with the Post and Courier stops by to talk Clemson football next. It's Rob, it's Alonzo, it's you. It's the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate.
My world.
All right, guys, quick break and we're back with John after this. Stay there. If you come to a traffic light that is not lit up, it is a four-way stop. Stop. Okay? Every time. Not when the car ahead of you stops.
Wait, if I'm on a main road, that means I just keep going. Right?
Not when the car next to you stops. Not just because you think the side roads, just stop. It's a four-way stop. It's a stop sign, okay? An out traffic light is a stop sign. I feel like a frustrated driver's ed teacher right now because I drove here this morning and all of the lights that I crossed with the exception were like, there was one, I was coming down Wade Hampton this morning at, I don't know, I came in way early because I got a week's worth of work to catch up on. I was here at like 3:30 this morning. And on the drive here at 3:30 in the morning, I stop at a light on White Hampton, four-way stop, because that's what you do. And I stop, and there's a car behind me laying on the horn. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't care. I don't care. It's a stop. It's a stop sign. Treat it like a stop sign. Okay. We're gonna keep saying that until every light in the upstate of South Carolina is back on.
Which would be awesome if that were today.
For sure.
Those guys are working really hard to get those lights back on so people don't have a chance to beep their horn for something like that.
Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Okay? Be patient. All right. We'll let for John Blau again later on. Unfortunately, not able to get in touch with him, but I also know, as there are for many of us, a lot going on out there. So we'll see if we can get John Blau back on or maybe reschedule him later on in the week. I'll let you know when we find out about that. In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about the Clemson Tigers. Start with this. One of the things that I don't just think, but I think a lot of you have been thinking for the past couple of years that's been going wrong for Clemson is that the offense was stale and predictable. And the big play had effectively vanished from the arsenal. Guess what? It's back. Big play's back. The ability, would Clemson have like 3 touchdown drives of 4 plays or less? Big play's back. They're able to go deep. I am now even more than I already was subscribed to the conspiracy theory that last year and at the beginning of this year, highly sought after offensive coordinator Garrett Riley was being held back by Dabo Swinney. I already subscribed to, now I am very committed to the conspiracy theory that he brought in Garrett Riley to freshen up the offense. We have said, I don't know how many times we've pointed out that when Garrett Riley showed up, that Dabo Swinney said, we did not bring Garrett Riley to Clemson to run the Garrett Riley offense. We brought Garrett Riley to Clemson to run the Clemson offense. And when that got said, we talked about it on the show. And I said, I'm actually a little apprehensive about that from one Dabo Swinney, because why in the world would you bring a guy that was sought after by every single team that had an offensive coordinator opening? Why would you bring that guy in and go, we're glad you're here, don't change nothing. We're glad you're here, do what we do, not what you do. That seems silly. That seems pointless, right? And then last year, the offense just kind of, it was just kind of, just kind of was what it was. And then at the beginning of this year, it was just kind of, okay. It just kind of was what it was. And then.
So maybe Cade got better. I know what you're going to do, but maybe this is all on Cade. Maybe Cade, something clicked.
Here's the thing.
Or maybe it's competition. It could be that too.
The more that I went back after the Appalachian State game, the game where it looked like maybe Clemson found a little something. After the Appy State game, I said, let me go back and look at the progression of one Cade Klubnik over the past couple of years. And I think if you go back and you look at the play selection, not the execution, the selection, the actual formations that are involved, the actual passing tactics that are involved, the route trees that are being run, etc. I think you can see a pretty empirical difference. I think you can see from Appy State forward to this past weekend, I actually think you can see a pretty big difference in the way the plays are called, what plays are called, how the plays are called, when the plays are called. And I think the offense is opened up. I think you're seeing more deep routes. I think you're seeing more deep crossing patterns.
Is it possible that all those things are opening up because Cade is finally getting what they're trying to do on offense and is able to make those plays be successful?
Or is the opposite possible? Are you able to start going to those, or is Cade starting to look that way because you've actually given him an offense to work within and not ask him to do the same 6 things? And oh, by the way, the same 6 things over and over that every defense you play has seen for the past 4 years.
All right, you're being very anti-Dabo right now. I want you to know that.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, it's coming across very anti-Dabo. I don't want you to end up on message boards or something.
I will see you on TigerNet. All right, see you there. This is not anti-Dabo. In fact, quite the opposite. If my conspiracy theory is true, it's actually very pro-Dabo. It's pro-Dabo in making the realization, making the switch, handing over the controls, and then getting out of the way once those controls are being operated. See, because you go back to last year, especially in the midst of that early portion of the slide last year, and it felt like in low pressure situations, it felt like the offense was a little bit more open. But whenever the gas got cranked up a little bit, it felt like Clemson kind of fell back a little bit into the comfort zone. This year against Appy State, low pressure situation, right? It opened up. The offense opened up. All of a sudden, Clemson's putting up 50-plus points in the first half. All of a sudden, it felt like that offense looked like a little bit more than just the regular offense. It felt like things were pointing in an upward trajectory. And then I thought, all right, well, are we gonna see that continue? Are we going to see this offense when you get up against NC State, the meat and taters of the ACC slate? And the answer was yeah. And that's why Clemson dropped 59 on the head of the Wolfpack. This was supposed to be Dave Doran's best Wolfpack team yet. Clemson put up 59 on him. Then you got Stanford. And again, Stanford's not a good team, but they are, and Dabo collectively and correctly described them as a very gritty football team. A football team that maybe not the most talented in the world. I'm saying that, not Dabo Swinney. But maybe not the most talented football team in the world in terms of raw athleticism, but a team that is absolutely not afraid of a little bit of contact, a team that is absolutely not afraid to go up against teams that are athletically more inclined than them and give you all that you can handle, and hope you make a couple of mistakes. Hope you tighten up a little bit. Hope you screw the pooch, give a couple of turnovers, and maybe they can snipe you, right? Clemson stayed wide open. 40 points on Stanford. And to be honest with you, it probably could have been more because Cade had in that first half, if I recall correctly, I think 2 passes where he underthrew wide receivers that would have been tutties if he'd have put it on a rope.
I just want to ask again, do you think that opponent is making them look better than what they are?
With Stanford, there is absolutely a possibility of that. Not against NC State. And again, I'm not arguing. I think I got tricked by NC State. There's a couple of teams that I nailed it, and there's a couple of teams I got tricked by. This is the same NC State team.
All right, you got to stop doing it with the North Carolina team, because last year, was it North Carolina? It was one of the North Carolina teams.
That was North Carolina.
They get you every year. Just leave North Carolina alone as far as football goes.
Look, I'm not going to. And again, I'd also like to point out that NC State has 2 losses, and they're both the top 20 teams. Sorry. They're both the top 21 teams. Clemson was 21 when they dropped 59 on them. Tennessee was 14, and now Tennessee's a top 5 team, right? So they've lost to 2 undefeated teams and 2 undefeated teams that find themselves moving closer and closer game by game to a playoff spot. Clemson is now 15 in the AP poll. Tennessee is number 4. So technically, NC State has lost to 2 top 15 teams and won their other 3 games. Granted, the other 3 games were against Western Carolina, Louisiana Tech, and the mighty Northern Illinois Huskies. But I would also like to point out, when you talk about NC State, that's the same Northern Illinois team that went to South Bend, Indiana, and knocked off the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, right? That's not a bad Northern Illinois team. So NC State, let me correct what I said. NC State, well, not correct because I didn't really say this, but just clarify in case anybody thought I did. NC State ain't bad. They ain't bad. All right. I don't think they're a playoff contender, but they're a good little football team. And Clemson smacked them in the mouth. And frankly, probably left 14 to 21 points on the field.
All right. So true competition. When is the first time? I mean, obviously, Georgia was definitely true competition for Clemson. When's the next time they play true competition?
November 2nd against Louisville.
Okay.
Now,
all right.
I say that.
So if they do that against them, then it's a different story.
I say that while also having to keep crystal clear, Notre Dame beat the hell out of Louisville this week. 31-24, but that score was closer than is indicated.
Last I checked, that's like 7 points.
Here's the but it's one of those ones where Louisville got some points late that like, okay, cool, good job, congratulations. These points don't matter.
Did they pull the stars?
I would say this. I don't know because I didn't have power, so I was listening to the results on the radio.
Okay.
I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. When I get my power back, I got a lot of football to catch up on. All right. I have listened to more football on the radio in the past 4 days than I have in the past 4 years combined. And that's as a radio guy. Y'all, I've been listening to sports as if it's 1937. Yeah, but here comes Clemson Tigers out on the football field. They're hosting.
No, come on. Don Munson does an amazing job.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So don't make fun of him. Now, so
that's
maybe
fair.
some other teams.
Coming up this afternoon, the Atlanta Braves hosting the New York Mets. Winner of this game heads into the playoffs. Here's Hammer and Max Fried getting the Spencer Schwellenbach, the rookie with a funny last name, out there on the bump for the Atlanta Braves.
I don't know what you're saying because I think radio broadcasts do it better. And this is why you need to share this radio show with everyone you know.
Please and thank you. Please and thank you. I got a lot of football to catch up on. Here's what I'm going to say. You got Louisville, and then you got South Carolina.
That's it.
And that's it. You got Florida State this weekend, which preseason, this was going to be blockbuster.
It was.
Clemson's going to beat Florida State by 90. That team is the definition of sucks. I mean, it's just bad, and it's sad war chant sounds coming out of Tallahassee. You know what? Let's look up, just because I'm curious. I know we got to get to the Flash.
Well, I wonder if Clemson will get a coach fired after that.
I
know you don't think he'll get fired, but
Clemson 14.5 point favorites over Florida State.
That's it.
Take my house, take my mortgage, take my car note, take Lonzo's entire fortune, put it all on Los Tigres. They're winning this game. I'm not kidding. They're winning this game by 35. There's no chance Florida State even had. Listen.
Glad you threw my 50 cents in there. Because
the total on this game is 47. Clemson might score 47 by themselves. I'm not kidding. Clemson might score 47 by themselves. This team stinks. So you got Louisville and you got South Carolina. And that's it. That's it. Now,
and before the season, saying South Carolina would have been like, yeah, you can't really put them in there. But we've seen how they've played. So
4-1. Their only losses to a top 16 LSU team. LSU.
They should have won that game.
And they should have won that game. That's exactly and precisely right. LSU now 13 in the rankings. And they should have won that game. They're 3-1. Only lost to a top now 14 LSU team. A game they lost by 3. And shouldn't have lost. I agree with Lonzo. I'm going to tell you what, you're going to learn a hell of a lot about South Carolina this Saturday with Ole Miss coming to town. Because Ole Miss ain't played nobody, Paul! And they went out there and they got smoked by a Kentucky team that South Carolina beat 31-6 on the road. Now,
Kentucky looked mean. They looked like that team that played Georgia and should have beat Georgia. So, yeah.
I think they were a little mad about the South Carolina game, and I think they took it out on maybe it's just me.
Well, they played Georgia before they played, didn't they?
Yes, but that was Georgia.
Okay.
Also, holy crap, we still got to talk Georgia, Alabama.
Georgia, who are they? How are they still ranked as high as they are?
Still ranked.
I'm upset about the rankings, but that's fine.
Guess what we're talking about when we come back after Lonzo does his Sports Flash?
Wow. All right, this is going to be confusing because it's confusing to me, but it's not confusing to Rob, so I'm going to say it the way they wrote
Braves
it.
win, they're in.
There we go. That would have been the easiest way to do it, but there is more stuff to say. The Atlanta Braves and New York Mets will make up a doubleheader that was rained out last week by Hurricane Helene, with 2 playoff spots to be awarded between 3 eligible teams. Game 1 will be at 1:10 this afternoon, with Game 2 following at 4:40. Whichever team wins Game 1 will be awarded the second wild card seed. If the losing team wins Game 2, then they will get the final seed. If one team is swept, the final seed will go to the Arizona Diamondbacks, as both New York teams, both New York and Atlanta, own tiebreakers over the Diamondbacks. Hey, make sure you tune in this Friday for the Burns Rebels as they take on Riverside at 7 o'clock right here on the Fan Upstate. Yeah, I know it sucked. Who cares? And by the way, yeah, we know our signal's messed up. They're supposedly working on it. I shouldn't say supposedly. They are working on it. I'm getting correspondence, and I'm also sleepy and saying things the wrong way. I'm curious, at what point will exhaustion set in to the degree where I'll actually sleep through the night? That would be awesome. Power would help too, but, you know, we already know that where we live, we're going to be one of the last ones to get power. At least we can go places where there are power, like right here. What am I doing? What am I doing? Hopefully when you guys get to work, you're not going, what am I doing?
In the background, you can hear the SMU marching band. Oh, John Kruk was. Yeah, Russ, man, we don't know what's going on. We have top men working on it right now. If all this summer, because I got married last.
Hey, how about that Coach Prime?
I mean, a good win. Good win.
3 friends in the next break.
3 friends in the next break. The fourth and final of the Money Hour, the Rob Brown Show goes now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's the Fan Upstate, Rob, the Great Lonzo, and you. If you can hear us.
How come you haven't hit the wall yet? I mean, I've hit that wall a couple times. You're just used to not getting any sleep. Oh, okay. That might help.
It's my third. This is the third white monster that we're on today.
That laughter is disturbing.
I don't know what to tell you. Hey, let's talk college football here for just a few minutes. The Alabama Crimson Tide for the
Roll daggum Tide.
sixth time in the 7 times that they have played Kirby Smart, and the Georgia Bulldogs have defeated the Georgia Bulldogs. This one, perhaps the most electrifying so far. That one wasn't my best, was it? That was the most electrifying so far.
I'm still. Why is Ohio State getting? They were 2, then they dropped them to 3, and they've been stuck at 3, and everybody just keeps jumping them, and all they do is win and win by a pretty big margin. But no, they're just 3.
Because I'm sorry to do it. Because
you're wrong before you even do it. You're just wrong. You're just absolutely wrong. Ohio State deserves to be number 1 right now, from the beginning until the end. If they don't lose, they should be number 1.
Yeah, but Alabama ain't lost either, and they just beat a top 5 team. You've played Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, and Michigan State.
Exactly. You play
not
the people,
exactly
you play the people in front of you.
I don't disagree, but let's not pretend you shouldn't be punished or rewarded to some degree.
Yeah, but why did they drop when they didn't lose?
You are the top ranked, you're the 3rd ranked undefeated team in America. There's 12 that get in, you're going to win the Big Ten. What else do you want? Like, being number 1 is irrelevant as long as you win the Big Ten.
You're right. I mean,
and if you don't win the Big Ten by your own logic, doesn't matter anymore.
Well, you still get a bye right now, right?
If you win the Big Ten.
If you continue at number 3, you would still get the bye.
If you win the Big Ten, you're getting a bye. I don't care if you're 7, 10, doesn't matter.
Okay,
if you win the Big
top,
with the new format, if
you
win the Big Ten, you catch the bye. If you're one of the top conference champions, which a Big Ten champ will be. So yeah, you're gonna get a bye. So I want to talk about something else, and I'm going to connect this to it. It is irrelevant outside of pride, right? Outside of having a pride in that number that's next to your name, it is irrelevant for you. Win the Big Ten, you're catching a bye.
Someone who's wearing a shirt today that just happens to say Ohio State on the Ohio State. It bothers me.
I mean, I get it, but also, again, I do think you have to recognize you ain't played nobody, Paul.
All right, well, start them at 3.
Now,
don't start them at 2, and then number 1 loses, and then they move. It doesn't make sense.
It does make sense, and
but
it makes sense
again,
in that
these polls don't really matter.
Also true.
Until the CFP comes out.
Also true. I'll tell you what matters. Texas went to Michigan and beat Michigan 31-12. They also knocked off, granted, a bad Mississippi State team, but an SEC opponent, Mississippi State.
And they did it with a backup quarterback.
They absolutely did. Alabama just knocked off the number 2 team in the country. If you switched and put Georgia where Michigan State was and Michigan State where Georgia was, and you guys beat Georgia and Bama beat Michigan State, you'd be number 1. That's not a question mark. That's a statement. That's a guarantee. But you did. You are correct. You play who you play, you beat who you play, and you're going to be there.
Guys, I'm going home.
But again, none of this matters. Win the Big Ten, you're catching a bye. That's literally all that matters. Now, what I want to transition this to is a conversation that was taking place Saturday evening. Rob Brown was sitting in a darkened house with no power, as if it was 1942, listening to this game on the radio. Alabama, Georgia. And I will say this, damn entertaining football contest. Alabama doing their best to try to get Atlanta out of the seat of the most hilarious loss ever when they were up 28-0 at halftime. 3 points better than the legendary 28-3 Super Bowl that Atlanta had a lead by 25 and then lost the football game. They allowed Georgia to come all the way back and take a lead. And then the Alabama Crimson Tide did something absolutely freaking ridiculous. I am going to say very simply that if I tried to do the things that 17-year-old Ryan Williams was doing with the football on Saturday night, every tendon and ligament in my body would evaporate. They would not. They would not rip, tear, shred.
He's only 17. Yeah, when I was 17, I could do some amazing things.
You couldn't do that.
No, I could not.
No,
but I could still do some things.
You know who else couldn't do that? Every 17-year-old.
I was going to say an 18-year-old probably could do that, or a 19-year-old.
There is
them making a big deal about his age. I think it's just it's a narrative that a bunch of people have jumped on. Good for him. But so what? He's 17. When I went to college, I was 17.
I mean, that's great.
You're right. Not as athletic as him, but still.
Were you at 17 putting yourself in the front seat of the Heisman caliber contest? No, you weren't.
If I'd have been given a chance, Rob.
I just needed a chance. I could have thrown the football over them mountains. No, you weren't doing what Ryan Williams does. No 18, 19, or 20-year-old in college football right now is doing what Ryan Williams is doing. There's not a receiver. So far, there's not a receiver that has stood out like Ryan Williams has stood out. The kid's special. There ain't no doubt about it. The kid is special. He's done special things. I tore an ACL watching him put the jukes, the spins, the stutters, the stops, the starts, the shakes, the bakes, the razzles, and the dazzles on that Ryan Williams put on against Georgia on Saturday night. It was spectacular. But as I was perusing social media with the very limited cell phone service that I was able to muster on Saturday evening, what I saw I saw a whole bunch. I can do this, I promise. What I saw a whole lot of was people going, I was told that with the 12-team playoff, these games didn't matter. This one sure no. Let's clear something up very rapidly, if you don't mind. That game didn't matter, okay? But there's a difference between the game don't matter and it doesn't matter, right? Here's the difference. Does that game matter? Right now, it doesn't look like it. Ole Miss ain't what everybody said. Yeah, just like Rob Brown said they weren't going to be. Ole Miss ain't what everybody said they were going to be. They're fine. They're good. They're going to win a bunch more games, but they're not Georgia. They're not Alabama. LSU, okay, sure. Good win over South Carolina. They're okay. You lost to USC. It's a good USC team. But, you're okay. You're all right. You're fine, right? It's Georgia and Alabama, and then there's everybody else. That just is what it is. In the SEC, let me clarify that. In the SEC, there's UGA, there's Bama, and then there's just everybody else in the Southeastern Conference. All right. To everybody, you're going to want to put Texas in there, and that's fine. We'll see if Texas maybe jumps in there. But I'll tell you right now.
You just remember that they were in the SEC.
I did. It took me a second. But no, I also
my pick to win the SEC.
I also think Texas is fine, but I think Texas defensively has got a couple of liabilities. And I think Georgia can run it up against them, and I think Ryan Williams can do special things against the Texas. I think Alabama, Texas, I'm betting the hell out of the over if they play. Okay. Now, with all of that being said, I think Alabama and Georgia are repeating this game back. The only way they don't is if somebody snags Texas, and that's certainly a possibility, right? I'm looking up and down the Texas Longhorns schedule as it stands right now. They've got Oklahoma, they've got Georgia, who can remedy that situation. If Georgia beats Texas, they're definitely going. They got A&M waiting for them in the very last game of the year. I think you're getting a repeat of Georgia and Alabama, because I do want to say this. I think that was a one-off performance from Georgia. I think that is going to be the worst performance. I don't think Georgia's as good this year as Georgia was last year. I still think Georgia has one of the best defenses in all of college football. I think they ran up against a Kalen DeBoer team that was just in fuego. I think Georgia had the worst game they'll have all season, and I think Alabama had the best game they'll have all season. All right? Just to be real clear. Now, this game only matters, and it might matter. It only matters if Georgia can't beat Texas. And then it will matter, because then this game will have cost Georgia the opportunity to compete for a Southeastern championship. It would have cost Georgia the opportunity to get a first-round bye. But if Georgia beats Texas, then this game technically doesn't matter, because they'll play again for the SEC title, and then that game will matter, because that game will determine who gets the first-round bye and who's hosting a game in the first round. But for those of us that were pro-playoff expansion, and I absolutely was one of them, does this game suddenly not matter? No, it still matters. It still matters because, as we mentioned a moment ago, it matters because it may have kept Georgia out of the SEC championship game and therefore out of the lottery to get a first-round bye. But even if Georgia beats Texas and they play again, you know why it matters? It matters because it mattered. Did you see what that stadium looked like on Saturday night? I mean, I didn't. But did you see what that stadium looked like?
I did.
I saw in social media clips after the game.
I got my iPad to work sporadically.
Nice. I didn't. Did you see what that game looked like? It was incredible. Did you see the barbs that were being flung back and forth between Georgia fans and Bama fans on Saturday night? That game matters. College football matters. Even the games that don't matter. Even the games between two teams that are fighting for mediocrity still matter. They matter because the things that we love about football, that's what we go for. The games like that only don't matter if the only thing that matters to you is a natty. If nothing else matters but a natty, then no, that game probably doesn't matter as much to you, right? But if pride in your school matters, if pride in your fandom matters, pride in your community matters, whatever pride in your family's history matters, whatever the reason that makes you love college football. Because we all want to win national championships for sure. But Lonzo, quick question. If the Buckeyes, hypothetically, and they won't, but let's say they lose the next 3 in a row and they're just out, do you suddenly stop watching Buckeye football?
No.
No, of course not. Because that's not why we watch football.
It'd be harder to find on TV, but I mean, I do have extra channels and things. So, yeah.
Because even if you say about your team,
we suck,
you still love it.
So you know how many times in my life I've ever seen the scenario that you just pointed out. It's only been a couple.
Yeah. But even when that does happen, that's not why you love college. You don't love college football only because of the national championships. You love college football because all the things that football team take into the field in the scarlet and the gray, or the purple and the white, or the garnet and the black, or the orange and the blue, or whatever.
Back in the day, we had to deal with the BCS. So when you had to deal with the BCS and the computers were deciding who was playing for a national championship, you just rooted for your team. Now teams have an even bigger shot of getting in and doing something thanks to the expansion of the playoffs.
I don't disagree. But even if you're on one of those teams, you're an Auburn fan, you're 0-2 in the SEC, you're not winning that thing. Mississippi State 0-2 in the SEC, 1-4 overall, you're not winning that thing. But I'm gonna go ahead and promise you. In Stark Vegas, Mississippi, the next time the mighty Bulldogs take to the field, the Mississippi State fans are going to be out there with their clanga cowbells, hooting and hollering for the Bulldogs. Because what we love about college football isn't just, do we love winning natties? You're damn right we do. But that's not the only reason we love college football. We love the history and the pageantry and the pride and the tradition, and all these things are good things. And I know a lot of you think that because I've said in years gone by that none of those things in the grand scheme of things matter, because to the people that make the decisions, to the suits, to the power players, they don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about your history, your tradition, or your pageantry, or your fandom, or any of that. They don't care about that. You know what they care about? How do we get the most dollar bills, y'all, in the coffers? That's it. As I say all the time, as Lonzo says all the time, as we say all the time collectively, and say so correctly, you want to know how and why a decision got made? It's a real simple process. Follow the dollar bills, y'all, and you'll find out. But we ain't the suits, right? I don't know. Well, I do. Lonzo does. When specific teams in college football are good, yeah, Zoe and I make more money. But 90% of fans, the 99% of fans don't. If you're a South Carolina fan and South Carolina makes an unprecedented run to an SEC title this year, none of y'all are making more money. Hell, if anything, that's going to cost you more money because you're going to have some T-shirts and some hats and some tickets to buy. I'll make more money, but I'm rare in that regard. That's not what they care about. Never has been. They care about the money. You don't. You care about what that school represents, what that logo on your shirt represents. You care about what it says about you. When you go out of town and you wear a Gamecock shirt or a Tiger shirt wherever you're going, that's what you care about. So does the game matter? Yeah, probably not as much as it used to, right? Like in days gone by, that could have very well been a season-ending loss for the Georgia Bulldogs. That was it. You're out of the natty hunt. Not so much anymore. So it doesn't matter as much in the scope of college football in the hunt for a natty, but it damn sure meant everything to the 77,000 strong inside of Bryant-Denny Stadium and Nick Saban Field on Saturday night. And it meant everything to the Bama fans who woke up the next day and popped on social media and started firing off reckless driving jokes at Georgia fans. It meant the world to them. And I promise you there's a bunch of Georgia fans who woke up Sunday morning still in a real bad mood. It mattered to them. Stop looking at it.
Where are our Georgia people? Yeah, they're quiet today. Yeah, they're not. I think they're still there, maybe.
I mean, they are. They'll be back because, I'm going to go ahead and say Georgia ain't losing another game. There's only one more they could lose, which is Texas, but they ain't losing another game. That was a one-off performance. That is the worst.
The SEC championship game, they're not losing.
I mean, regular season game.
Okay, all right.
They ain't losing another regular season game. But again, my argument has been forever. Just because I say over here that when the decision makers are making the decisions, they don't care about it. They don't care about the history and the tradition and the pageantry and the fandom. They care about one thing, and that's making more money. That's not how I feel for you guys, for us collectively as fans. Those are the things that make us love college football. If it wasn't for those things, we wouldn't be college football fans. This is why I've said for years, you may be a fan of a player that plays for your school. You are not a fan of players until they are done at your school, right? And that's always been the case. Always. It's just that now they can leave. Base your fandom on the things that make you proud to be a fan of your school, of your team, of your program, whoever it might be, all right? Base your fandom on that. Because if you base your fandom on the pride you have in the script A or the block G or the tiger paw or the gamecock or the I was going to say Seminole spear, but ain't nobody proud of that right now. If you base your pride on what makes you proud to be a fan of that school, then every game matters and every Saturday matters. Win, lose, or draw, whether you're in the hunt for a natty or a conference title or not. Base it on that. So if the folks who were all up in arms, I was told this game don't matter. No. That's not what we said. What we said was, in the landscape of the quest for a natty, yeah, it matters less. Georgia's path to the playoffs, if not the bye, is still set in just about stone. They're going to the playoffs. Because I don't think they're losing another regular season game, but if they do, it's just the one to Texas. They're 10-2, and they're getting in as like the 11 or 12. But that's it. What matters is how you feel watching your squad play on a Saturday and rep your hood. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Three friends.
All right, guys, one more reading. We're back. Stay right there for me, please. Thank you. friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not, I don't know why you're here, but I am glad that you are. Hey, do us a favor. Whether you're enjoying it or not, would you mind sharing us around your social media, please? And thank you, Twitter, X, whatever you call it. I don't care. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, it doesn't matter to me. Help us get the good word out. We're trying to get famous and rich, and we can't do it without your help. So, The Rob Brown Show is on all social media, or share the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you're watching this, and we'd appreciate it very much. Now, let's get back to the show. Stick around. What is up, friends? It's Rob Brown. I hope you're enjoying the show. If you're not,
I think the only people who couldn't make it in as far as on-air people were some of the news department.
did anybody work through the storm up here?
Yeah, well, no. I mean, Tara was on Friday morning when it was still going on. I'm sure Charlie was on, but it really didn't start hitting till Thursday night. But Tara was on and up here Friday morning. I think Lee pretty much worked all day. But let's face it, I didn't really know because I didn't have cell service, and I'm just going from what I understand. Didn't much care about work for a little bit there. It was like, if I'm dead, I can't go to work. And I was legitimately scared for a while. It usually doesn't happen too often, but I saw a tree bend in a way that I thought, okay, I'm
in danger.
No, I can't move.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, because that tree is so big that's going past my house after it goes through it. But it bounced back, like, yeah. And then one, like, right next to it, by the roots. I mean, that's the scary ones. And the one that almost hit my car and did hit Lisa's car. It just knocked off our windshield wiper. Back.
So, since we have been running through some sound, I got another bit of it that I would like to play for you now in a game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. Safety Minka Fitzpatrick of the Steelers took a shot on Adonai Mitchell, the rookie out of Texas. Joe Flacco threw a deep sideline pass with $1:32 left to go in the third quarter. Fitzpatrick was running towards Mitchell as the ball sailed out of bounds, and though he pulled up and did not lead with his head, he did collide with Mitchell. The flags came out. He was called for an unnecessary roughness penalty at that moment. It was a third down play, and an automatic first down was awarded to the Colts. The Colts, of course, with Joe freaking Flacco is back. Joe Flacco is back-o, baby. We're all Joe Flacco fans in this house.
Well, I want to know where the Pittsburgh defense is because, I mean, they got a quarterback. I don't know if you knew that. They have a quarterback and who played really, really well in that game and has played really well since he's been a starter.
Played really well in that game, played good enough in the last two. Let's not sit here and pretend like he's changing the world at the QB spot.
So you're saying he progressed? Is
yeah,
that
for
that's
sure.
what you're saying? So
like I said, he would.
He was already good, and now he's even better? Who's on the bench?
He was good enough.
Who's on the bench?
And then he played good. An injured Russell Wilson, who may be better.
I care more about this than I do the Bryce Young.
I know you do. It's very obvious. So anyway, let me get to the Minka Fitzpatrick story. Fitzpatrick was not upset. He was talking to reporters in the post game, and he said this.
I mean, I thought we were playing football. I don't know what we're playing at this point. Very different game than what I grew up playing and what I grew up loving. Can't hit nobody hard. Can't be violent. So I don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah. Can't be violent. I mean, that's all it's supposed to be what the game's about, being violent.
Did you see the did you see the picture of the two Alabama players and their eye black? Have you seen it yet?
I have not.
So there's two Bama players. It's on my Twitter feed. It's worth a look. There were two Bama players in their eye black, and on the left was a Bama player that had a Bible verse across his eye black, and literally next to him was a teammate whose eye black said, "Kill everyone." Somebody put it up with a caption, "Inside you there are two wolves." I'm like, yeah, that's the best tweet. That's the best tweet. Anyway, let's get back to Minkah Fitzpatrick here. I got a couple of things. Number one, I've only seen the play one time. Okay. The ball's uncatchable. But, and I've said this about officiating many times in the past, you got to keep in mind that a defensive player has to be looking at two things at once. He's got to be looking at where the ball is, and he's got to be looking at the player who is the intended receiver of said ball. But I am also going to say that the concept of not making contact with a defenseless receiver isn't that difficult to understand. Like, I know I'm a soft-ass millennial, Liberob strikes again, whatever. Not hitting a defenseless player, not a player in the act of making a catch, a defenseless player is not that hard. Pull up. That ball's clearly OB. The ball is clearly uncatchable. And even if Mitchell goes up, it doesn't matter. You can't hit him in that spot. All right. Now, if it's a catch a ball, you're making the play on the ball. If you hit him before he's got hands on the ball, it's pass interference anyway. And if you hit him after he's got hands on the ball, then it's a broken up pass. You're good. You're clear. Right. Like I get what Minkah Fitzpatrick is saying here, and I will absolutely and entirely acknowledge that there are aspects of the game that have changed that I don't like. As we pointed out, there was a call, and I don't remember, it was UCLA, I think, a week ago, not this past Saturday, but last Saturday, where the quarterback, there was a roughing the passer call on a quarterback who never threw the ball. Then it's not roughing the passer, because of the whole him not passing thing. You have to passing to be a passer. He did not passing, therefore he was not a passer, therefore you cannot rough the passer. That's an element of the game that even I will acknowledge, I think needs to be course corrected. But like this one was pretty obvious, man. Like I get what you're saying, but this one's pretty obvious, Minkah. Like, I'm down with what you're saying, but you can still hit a guy. You just got to make sure he's capable of catching the ball. That's it. That's all. It's really not like, it's not something that I'm going to be super crazy over. Hey, speaking of quarterbacks, since we were there for just a minute, we're going to have, I am assuming, quite a bit of conversation about quite a number of quarterbacks over the next few days. I think I might have been wrong about Trevor Lawrence. I think he just might not be it at the NFL level.
What? No. Urban broke him.
Yeah.
You're not doing that thing because
Yeah, I would feel better about that.
All the praise that he got coming out of Clemson, which he did an amazing job at Clemson. He did, for sure. But I questioned even then. I didn't know how good of an NFL player he was going to be because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And we might know now.
I might have been incorrect. Trevor Lawrence,
good hair though. I mean,
great hair. Hair to be admired. I was watching Saints Falcons, and the Jags game against Houston was on the TV next to it. And so I was watching both at the same time. Dude was missing dudes. I mean, not like, oh, he's throwing into a tight window or, disguised coverage really got him there. Dude was just missing dudes. He had
you didn't like bump the guy next to you and go, see, it's Urban's fault.
No, listen, I'm down 1,000,000,000,000% to blame Urban Meyer for the majority of the problems of the world. Like I'm firmly convinced world hunger is Urban Meyer's fault, and I'm happy to go to war over that. And I absolutely do think that the development of Trevor Lawrence has been stunted to some degree. I am even willing to go so far as to say that maybe, as I believe has happened, for example, although he's doing his damnedest to prove me wrong, that maybe Sean Payton's a bit overrated as a head coach. Broncos did get a win yesterday, but also against what is turning out to be a very overrated football team.
Missed field goal.
Very overrated football
They lost because of a missed field goal. Anyway.
But still.
Oh, well, the Broncos won because of a missed field goal.
There is no need for you, the New York Jets, to be in a fight that comes down to a field goal with the Denver Broncos. It's just not, all right? It's just not. Bo Nix ain't that good. He's fine. He's just not that good. But point here is, you're now a year and 4 games removed from Urban Meyer, and you're missing open dudes, right? Now, with a guy like Bryce Young, again, I'm not only willing to say that I'm going to blame everything that's happening with BY on what happened last year on the team itself, on the coaches that are of a bygone era, et cetera, et cetera. BY has been in the NFL now for 21 games? We got 4 this year and 17 last year. He's been in the NFL for 21 games. He's had 3 head coaches in 21 games. 3.
He didn't play that many games this year.
No, he's been in the NFL for the duration of 21 games. Not that he's been in all of them.
Okay.
Because he missed some last year, too. I'm saying his entire NFL career, development, sitting, and starting, 21 games in the NFL. I'm going to give him some time. TL16's been removed from Urban Meyer for dramatically longer than that. And he was just missing guys. Now, he also hit some guys. He's made some throws that you're like, bang, there it is. That's the guy. That's sunshine. That's the guy. But, man, he had Bryan Marshall running wide open in the corner of the end zone and just missed him. Had a couple of different spots that he just missed him. Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator, went under fire after the game. Doug Peterson said, quote, "For what? I thought he called a great game. As coaches, we can't make the guys play, right? It's a two-way street. You guys can sit here and point the finger all you want, and that's it. Point it right at me. I can take it. Whatever you want to ask me, say whatever, right? Go ahead." Basically said, I can call all the right plays if they can't hit. And for the first time in a long time, I was like, yeah, I kind of get it. They were just missing dudes. I'm worried. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. The wall happened here.
By the way, I now have proof that this is what this guy is called, according to the Carolina Panthers, who just tweeted out something. Red Rifle rips it to Deontay.
Oh, his nickname is Red Rifle.
So
it just makes me laugh.
So as much as they want to change it to Red Rocket,
nobody's trying to change it.
Dude, you haven't heard? Well, you couldn't watch. Yes.
Scratch that. If people are changing it, it's because they find it hilarious like I do.
They are changing it. I don't know if that's it, but they're changing it to Red Rocket. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's a Red Rifle. I am currently dealing with time lapses. Like, what time is it? How is it this time?
We're going to have to buy Chris a new pair of shoes after this week because he's going to wear the treads off of those.
do your job, man. Just do your job.
Do your damn job.
I mean, you're here for a reason. It's to work. Okay? All right?
All right.
So I was just saying to the stream, I think. I'm having time lapses. I just looked out, I was like, 9th. Oh, okay. Okay.
1 segment left.
Yeah. Still the deciding when to drive home thing. Because really, I mean, why go home? But, He said he's setting a standard to a degree, James, but every once in a while, a rookie quarterback gets in there and does that. Aaron Rodgers is looking rough, though. I mean, just look at it.
Yeah.
After
the post-game presser, he
looks old.
Yeah. It's the first time I've really looked at him and been like, he looks tired.
Yeah.
It looks like his age, smacked him in the face.
He looks like this might be his last year.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, winning might change that for him a little.
Shefty, turn your ring light down some, bud.
I was waiting. No.
Golly, it's like his nose has disappeared.
No, he looks like he's has a glamour shot filter on.
It does.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got an Instagram filter on.
All right, we get it. You're always on the phone. You're never in the sun. All right. Turn the pail down.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It's the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages. Robin, the great one, Alonzo, with you. Be a part of the show, 844. Nope. Yep. 844. I got it right. It's been a minute. All right. Leave me alone. 844 FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. Text line's open, 71307. Start your text with FAN, 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 FAN. And because Lonzo is so excited about this, let me tell you about a new feature on the Odyssey app that just rolled out, and I'm very excited about it. If you have not put the Odyssey app on your phone, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to convince you to do it. It's a brand new feature that just rolled out, voice messaging straight through the Odyssey app. Here is how it works. I want you to go to your phone. I want you to download the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Once you do that, I want you to go find the Fan Upstate. It's very simple. You go to the search bar, you type in the Fan Upstate. It's going to take you to the station page.
Wow, that was very simple.
Very simple. How simple is it? Very, very, very simple. Go type in the Fan Upstate, click the little heart icon. That's going to allow you to follow the Fan Upstate. Once you are following the Fan Upstate, go to the Fan Upstate's page on the Odyssey app. And what you're going to see is in the middle of the page, you're going to see two buttons. An orange button that says Listen Live. You can push that button at any time and listen live 24/7, 365. It is just that simple. The Rob Brown Show from 6 to 10 every weekday. Wire to Wire with Cole Bryson and Diesel every weekday from 3 to 7 p.m. There's a second little button there. It's a little circle button with a microphone logo on the inside of it. You click that microphone button and a little subsection is going to pull up. Once you do, it's going to have another little microphone button. You tap that button and you can record a 60-second voice message saying whatever you want to say. And I want you to know you have the full permission of Rob Brown to say and record anything you want. I don't care. Okay? Now, you say you say something heinous, mean, evil, criminal. Yeah, you're probably going to catch the old block button. You say something inappropriate, dirty, hilarious. You're probably going to get the old thumbs up from Rob Brown.
Yeah, save that for the text line because that happens every day.
No, send it to the voice messages. All right? Go to the Odyssey app, follow the Fan Upstate, click on the microphone button, and then click on the little subsection that comes up. You can record a 60-second voice message. Once you are recording, or done recording, push send, and it is going to send it directly to my computer. I can listen to it. I can respond to it. If you send it in real time, I will listen to it during the break to make sure it's radio friendly. And then if we like it, we play it. And here's the fun part. You can send your voice message 24/7, 365. You can send it at 2:15 in the morning in the midst of your favorite liquor-induced bender. You can send it at 6:30 in the morning when I say something that you love or you hate. anytime, any place. Go to the Odyssey app, AUDACY, click on the Fan Upstate, click on the microphone button, record your 60-second voice message, and send it to me. If you would like to say, Rob, I'm thinking about the New Orleans Saints, and we suck.
No way.
You can send that. If you want to say, hey, Stanford,
Let me tell you what they done. They done kicked your ass, son. Wow.
you can record that. You can record that. If you would like to say, I really don't give a, you can record that.
Kiss your mother with that mouth?
You can record that. Whatever you want to record. AUDACY, put that app on your phone, go to the Fan Upstate, click on the microphone button, and once thou dost, you can record 60-second voice messages that will immediately be sent directly to my computer, and we can respond.
You know what you could also do? You could also push that button and say, hey, just want to thank you guys. I really enjoy listening to you every day. You can be, I know it sounds generic and things like that, but we would really enjoy hearing that.
Or you can say,
What are we doing? What'd you do when you were a kid? Play Nintendo?
which, yes,
That's what kids do. They play Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Yes.
You can say whatever you want.
Adults play Xbox.
That's also true. You can say,
I like football.
You can say,
that's why you're hanging with chicks all night long.
America.
He's a big ass boy, is what he is. God dang.
Nobody's perfect, but I am very, very close.
What kind of place is this?
whatever you want. AUDACY, put the app on your phone, go to the Fan Upstate, click on the microphone button, 60-second voice messages that come directly to me. Send some hilarious ones so I can make Lonzo feel uncomfortable in the fortress of nerditude.
By the way, all that aside, please try that today for us so we can see how it's working.
Do it right now.
Yeah.
If you already have the Odyssey app on your phone and you've already liked the Fan Upstate, do it right now. I got to see if it works.
It might be the only way you're listening right now. So,
That's also true.
Yeah.
That's also true. The voice notes feature is available to you starting right now. 60-second voice notes, 24/7, 365. Send them. I can promise you one thing. I'll be listening to these things every day of my life.
Nope.
I expect them to be my lifeline from you people, all right?
Nope.
I'll be listening to them in the morning before the show. I'll be listening to them during the show. I'll be listening to them after the show. I'll be listening to them when I'm on my lunch break. I'll be listening to them at nighttime when I'm show prepping. And then when we go to bed and I wake up the next day, it might be the next best thing that I listen to again, all right? Odyssey, the Fan Upstate, leave voice messages for me that are hilarious.
You're still doing the me thing. So I guess that's fine. If all of them are directed towards you, I won't feel nearly as uncomfortable.
Oh, you can send them to Alonzo too. I just
want you to send them to Cole. I mean, I don't
send them to Cole and Diesel.
Definitely send them to Cole
For sure. It's going to be hilarious.
You're not going to say anything Diesel hasn't heard before, but Cole, you might surprise him. He is younger. He's the youngest guy on the stage. And then you might say some things. He goes, what is that?
That's also true. All right, shoot it to us. The Odyssey app, search and like the Fan Upstate, and then leave us a voice message, and we will play some of them on the air. Send them to me in the middle. You can Shannon Sharp us if you want. I don't care. Have fun.
Did you really have to go back to that? Because I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah.
I don't. Those, by the way, will not play on the air.
Who was it earlier? Somebody earlier said, it's my anniversary tonight. You're absolutely getting Shannon Sharp.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, I did.
Love the listeners.
My concern is that's probably going to happen.
It's okay by me.
Yeah, I mean, if it does for you, good for you.
They'll
But
get screened before they go on the
we
air.
don't want to hear it. Will they?
Yeah.
I think they deserve.
Listen,
it.
I'm dumb, but I ain't dumb.
Hey,
all right.
Some things have slipped by before from you. Apparently, Wesley was a guilty party. I would like to also hear them. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, you will.
I don't want to
every morning.
I don't want to do the work that's required, but if you find something that you like,
We just got one from Michael, 6 seconds long.
Wow.
I'm not going to play it yet. I trust you, Michael. Not that much. All right.
Do you know which Michael it is?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Because there's a lot of Michaels.
I don't. Michael,
our new head engineer.
We also got one from my mom. Not playing that one either.
Because it's overly nice and you don't like nice stuff because your mom would not be negative.
Or maybe she dropped a somewhere in there.
Nuh-uh. No, she would not do that.
She said, Rob, I want to talk about the Saints.
We suck.
It's my favorite clip. I love that. Braves Mets 110 this afternoon. Spencer Schwellenbach on the bump against Tyler McGill. Braves, it's very simple. You win one, you move on into the postseason. It all comes down to this. Here's the fun part. You lose both, you're out of the postseason entirely. Braves have to take one of the two. They're sending Schwellenbach out first. I actually like that. I think it's the right decision. There's somebody that texted the show earlier and said, Rob, why not send out Chris Sale, your best pitcher, and go ahead and make sure that you get the dub? And the answer is this, because the wild card round starts tomorrow. That's why the playoffs, they're here. This is a playoff series. This is a 2-game playoff
play-in
series.
tournament for the NCAA and or some other things. You know what? I'm trying to figure out how to root here because in the end, I just don't want you to be right. So I wish, but if the Braves win the whole thing, you're going to be extremely happy. So I don't know. I mean, do I want a happy Rob or do we want well, you're going to be happy if they don't because you're going to be able to say, see, I told you. But if they do, I want them to win the whole thing. That's it. I'm rooting for the Braves. I want them to win the whole thing. So even though you're happy, you have to say that you were wrong at the same time.
Oh, and I absolutely will. I'm telling you right now. The Bravos, should they win either game today, they're in. If they win the first game, then they are in as the second of 3 wildcard squads. If they lose the first game, they must win the second game. If they lose both games, they are out. If they win the first game, they are in. And here's why I like going Spencer Schwellenbach in game 1. If Schwellenbach goes game 1 and the Braves bats are alive early and they win game 1, you immediately yank Chris Sale from game 2 and you have him for tomorrow. If you or Wednesday, whenever you play. If you don't do that, Chris Sale's got to go in game 2. If he's got to go in game 2, it means at that point that you don't have him for the first game of the wild card round. And if you don't have Chris Sale, you're definitely losing the wild card round. There's a chance that Atlanta finds their way out of the wild card round. It 100% depends on if the bats get hot or not. And, you're going to get Milwaukee or San Diego. Frankly, I'd rather have Milwaukee, and that's just me because I think San Diego's scary as hell in the postseason. But, hey, man, look, it comes down to this. Win one, you're in. Spencer Schwellenbach, go get that dub so you can save Chris Sale. If not, Chris Sale, need you to be a miracle worker so the Braves can get in. It really is that simple.
So you would rather be wrong. You want them in.
I don't know, dude. Like, on one hand, I do because, hey, you can't win if you don't play the game, and postseason baseball is weird. There's been a lot of bad teams that go on deep runs, a lot of unexpected teams like the Diamondbacks last year that go on deep runs. On the flip side, I'm like, why burn up everything, right? Like, why risk a bunch of injuries in a World Series run that we can't win because they're just too banged up?
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
I'm rooting for him because I want him to win just so you'll be wrong. All right, the first thing is Xing is Chris Christopherson.
Absolute legend of song and screen, Chris Christopherson passing away yesterday at, how old was Chris Christopherson?
88.
88 years of age. Absolutely legendary player. Me and Bobby McGee for the good time Sunday morning coming down, helping through the night.
Don't forget, pretty good actor.
Blade.
Loved him in Blade. Yes.
So good in Blade. And also the OG A Star is Born, which I went back and watched when the newish, later one with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga came out, which is also very, very good.
I think the Chris Christopherson one was actually a remake also. I think there was an older one.
Okay,
but I'm not sure. But that's the one I watched, that one.
Rep. Love Chris Christopherson.
Wasn't he in the movie Convoy too? For some reason, I think he was. But he was in a bunch of stuff, especially back in the 70s.
Yeah, for sure.
He passed away.
Let's see. He was in Pat Garrett and the Billy the Kid, Cisco Pike with Gene Hackman. Bring me the head of Alfredo Garcia and Convoy. Michael Ritchie, Semi-Tough
right.
in 1977.
Semi-Tough was good. Football movie.
That is correct. With Burt Reynolds in that one, former Florida State University legend. He was in Scorsese's Alice Don't Live Here Anymore in 74, Vigilante Force in 76. Let's see. The Sailor Who Fell from Grace with the Sea alongside, and then A Star Is Born in 76 with Barbara Streisand, for which he received a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor.
All right. The next thing that's Xing is Starfield.
I do not know why Starfield is Xing.
For a very exciting but disappointing thing. I've been waiting for months, and so have a lot of people, for the expansion to happen, which happens today. But guess what? I can't do.
Play Starfield.
I can't play because
anything else.
Yeah, I haven't really played a video game in like 4 days or something like that. I'm good.
You know, if I go home,
I'm good.
If I go home and my power's on, I may just go buy an Xbox today. Honestly, like, I'm just going to be like, you know what? Screw it. I haven't done it in 4 days. I've clearly saved up the money for it at this point.
Let's binge this thing. Yeah. Why not? All right. The next thing that's Xing is Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice, torn ACL. Is that confirmed at this point? Have we gotten an update?
I don't want to see.
I saw earlier, I believe it was a torn ACL. He went down after taking a shot from one of his own players yesterday.
Patty Mahomes was trying to make a tackle, and his shoulder kind of went into his leg. It was ugly.
It did not go well. He was carted off the field. Andy Reid was caught was saying afterwards that, quote, it's not good. It's pretty gnarly. So Rashee Rice being out will be a major blow to that offense. I know Zoe is very confident that someone else will just step in and fill that role. But as I've said to you many, many times, the reason next man up is a philosophy is because somebody's better than somebody else. And you take a step back from a starter. I don't care how good your backup is.
It doesn't work that way in Kansas City, but I agree with you everywhere else. The next thing that's Xing, speaking of a player going somewhere else, is Derrick Henry.
You know, when Derrick Henry went to the Baltimore Ravens, I said something to you all. I said Derrick Henry is going to be a monster in Baltimore. And then he had a couple slow starts, but I also said something else. I said he's going to be a monster, but wait. It's going to take him. He's like a tank. Takes a little while to get the traction. Takes a little while to get that diesel engine going. But when Derrick Henry gets going, Derrick Henry shan't be stopped. Last night, Derrick Henry had both his first passing or receiving touchdown since 2019, and also the longest touchdown run in Ravens history. I don't know if you know this. They've had some very good running backs there in Baltimore, Maryland. Derrick Henry now has the longest rushing touchdown of anybody. He got that diesel engine going, and Derrick Henry, the king, is back. You're welcome, everyone who drafted him in fantasy football, because you listen to Rob Brown, because this is, and I can say this for a fact, true. I know ball. I'm so glad to be back, you guys. I missed you so much. Tomorrow, we hit the ground running once again. The Great Malonzo. I'm Rob Brown. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thanks for being here. It's the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
It's good. It's good. The job is done. We can go home now.
Oh, wow.
Yep. We're going to leave now because it's been a very long day. And I still have things to do that I can't go home and do like I normally would. I have to do them here because I don't. You know what's going to infuriate me? I'm going to stay here till like 1 o'clock doing all the stuff. I've been here since 3:30 this morning. I'm going to stay here till like 1 o'clock doing all the things, and I'm going to go home and my power's going to be on. Bet you $1.
So, it's good for you. Like you really would complain about that.
I'd be real mad. Hey, that's all for us. You guys are all spectacular.
You could always, endure a poop cano. And then
thanks, Vicky. I miss you, boo. I hope you're doing great. I really do. It's been a very long time. Lonzo and I are I was gonna say go home, but
I got a bunch of work to do too.
Y'all all have a lovely rest of your day.
Plus,
you're all
it's cool in here, and it's not
at home. Have a great rest of your day. Be safe out there. And remember, if the traffic light's out, it's a 4-way stop. Stop your car. Goodbye.